Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Happy Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. Huh? Did you get much lawn maintenance done today? We've been holed up in here. It's rained off and on. I don't know. My yard, Tom, is crazy long. I'm a black eye in the neighborhood. People drive by. Look at that lawn in Cameron's place. Out of control. I'll get to it. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, don't worry about it. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on our website, and on iTunes. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. And we've got the handy-dandy WTSM app. So you can use that if you're having problems with the signal, which sometimes I'm told can be a problem, but not when you got the app. You're good to go. No reason for all that whining and bitching. Just get that app up and going, and you're good to go. Just like that. Marvin Wilson on the list for all ACC, Tamorian Terry, and that's where it ends for Florida State for this year's list of players in the preseason rankings of the ACC. Not surprising, but that came out today. A whole lot of Clemson players seem to make it.
I know we want people in the trenches, and obviously we want as many as we can get
Tons
on
of
this
them.
list.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a specialist make it one day for Florida State. You know, a punter or a kicker. And the whole league says, man, that guy's just so damn good at his job. We were like that forever, and then we weren't.
Well, these days, I feel like that is the preamble to any Florida State conversation involving what once was, what could be, and what is. And it's always very difficult because you have to define your terms early on, and then you get into this bout of depression, and then the conversation ends and you order another beer.
Right.
That's kind of how that works these days, buddy.
Graham Gano started an era that was about, 7-8 years long, where you could just pencil it in that we were A-OK in the kicking game. In fact, we were elite in the kicking game.
Onions. People still call him that, and I'm going to be forever proud of that nickname bestowed upon Graham Gano, and he still will answer to it, which is great. And I still have the jersey he sent me with onions on the back of it. Yeah, you're right. He did. And remember, his prowess was not just as a place kicker, but as a deadly punter. Coffin corner specialist. That guy would back up a 9-iron, wouldn't he? It was unbelievable.
The light bulb clicked on for him when we were out in Colorado.
That's right. And I was at that game.
Big night for Graham Gano.
That was a fun game to go to and a good time. It's also, leading up to that game that evening was perhaps the sickest I've been for a stretch from about, 9 in the morning to 4 p.m. Green. Fought my way through it. May have had too much fun with friends and family in Lodo the night before, and then we had to drive all through the mountains. It's a lot of winding. That's a lot of winding, Tom.
Yeah, you get motion sickness, right?
I get motion sickness, especially if I've had 15 beers the night before.
And that's why you need to be the driver. Partially.
I used to get it worse than I get it now. This was not motion sickness. This was just me being irresponsible and it got away from me. Got away from me a little bit. We had too much fun. And I knew I wasn't driving the next day. So I was like, I was apt to say yes to those who said, shall we have another? And it happened that way. And then we get there and it's beautiful. And I just remember how hostile, which struck me as odd for a bunch of pothead hippies, how hostile the Colorado Buffs fans were. I thought I'd see a bunch of hacky sacking and perhaps some shuttlecocks being hit back and forth near the stadium, but instead it was vitriol everywhere. They hated us, but really they were looking in a mirror. Their hatred was self-hatred. Colorado had ceased to exist on the larger landscape of college football for many years at that point, and they just wanted a reason to spout that cruelty towards us. And then they lost, and we further buried them, and we weren't even any good.
Is that the most confused you've been by a hostile fan base in any sport? Like if you've traveled, you've been to a lot of games all over the country.
I've been all over the country. Well, I understood Georgia Tech's hatred. They had several games. They thought they had won against us, and they got beat, and they hate us.
Every trip They're ridiculous.
The folks at Georgia Tech, they struggle with us. I don't know if that's still the case since we don't play them all that often. And
I would tell you, the 08 game, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, where's this coming from?
But that's 11 years ago. I'm saying I don't know.
But it was undergrad kids. It wasn't, people who had been around for decades as fans.
I know. They're snooty and uppity. They've got better calculators, they think. But I would say this. I was shocked by Charlottesville. Virginia fans were a little snooty when I went up there. That's not altogether shocking. It is UVA, a wonderful academic institution. They have a lot to be proud of, but sometimes they take it a little far over to the gridiron.
Yeah.
And they were the first to beat us in the ACC, and they've really clung to that, desperately clung to that for their last really achievement of any kind in football. So, I mean, I get it, I guess. But I was taken aback by the level of hatred that the Colorado fans had for us up there. I didn't think they hated anything all that much.
Yeah, UVA fans are like that. You're absolutely right. I had a UVA instructor first year in the English department at Florida State, which was #1 in the country at the time, public universities. And he was so proud of being a Virginia Cavalier.
Nothing wrong with that, yeah.
But to the point where it was a little snooty. And he started about, you guys at Florida State. We're in a Florida State classroom. And so I let it go a couple times. The third time I said, you really want to get back there, don't you?
Yeah.
And he was not pleased with my
No,
retort.
Come on, man. What are we doing, man?
We're in Williams Hall.
Well, I don't want to revisit things that people get tired of hearing, but that's the first misstep a former coach ever made. There was a lot of you-alls and you guys in some early press conferences where I was like, whoa, what are we doing here? Who's stroking those checks? Who's paying that salary right now? I believe that's Florida State University. I mean, that's just not how you engender a real.
We had the best team in the country in '93. Did you?
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, no. So that's. I think the answer to your question was probably Colorado. I got past it. I don't know. I was too sick to argue with them.
Calgary Flames fans, unbelievable.
Really?
Out of nowhere.
And Canadians are great.
Cowboy Canadians. They were ridiculous.
Very angry.
Very angry.
Well, I will say that in the NFL, I've only been to a few road, well, and I guess I would classify them as road games. If you're a Bucs fan and you go to see the Bucs on the road, I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Miami.
That's fine.
I've been to Jacksonville. Yeah.
Atlanta's nothing. It's just,
they're
kind of bland.
Mm-hmm. No, the NFL, it's weird. The NFL, one of the things, and we've talked about this a lot when we have the discussion about the home and home series being signed amongst the Power Five, and how it's great when you expand the amount of teams that have a chance to win a college national championship because you're more apt to get tougher non-conference games. So in that aspect, I'm fine with it being 4. I'm against 8. We're going to go to 8. I'm not for that. I think you remove urgency in the regular season when you do that. I think you remove a certain level of I think losses and wins should matter, and I think an element of that begins to diminish when you expand the playoffs to 8, certainly 16 if we ever went there. But that said, this isn't the discussion that I want to get into right now, but college football has been so unique because of the home and home for so long that as these teams took the money to play neutral site games, it saddened me. And the reason it saddened me wasn't just that I didn't get to fulfill sort of the collegial dream of seeing other campuses and traditions that make the sport unique. It was that it was making it too much like the NFL, which I find to be sterile. I'd much rather watch an NFL game on television for the complicated levels of thought that go into specialized athletes and getting them in space and doing all of that. So the offenses per se have now begun to shift to where it's a little bit more fun than it used to be. The NFL's offenses and defenses were as cookie cutter as they come because the athletes were so good. You really couldn't operate outside those parameters. You get your players killed, but that's changing now. That said, I mean, you can watch those games and enjoy those games, but going to those games were never all that interesting to me, comparatively speaking, to a college football game where the atmosphere is second to none. And it's because of the collegial nature, right? You've got real fight songs, real traditions.
Yeah.
And impassioned fans because they go to school there or they went to school there or they live in the community and they're not just rooting for laundry the way they are in the NFL. And the NFL's franchises don't care about you. Universities tend to.
Sometimes, yeah.
To a greater degree.
They do now here locally. They care about each and every one of you.
Well, they certainly want your money too. But,
yes,
but there is a binding experience that doesn't exist in the NFL. Nobody feels I don't know this kindred spirit of I root for the Bucks. That doesn't exist like it does with the Knowles or the Gators or the Canes if you went to school. You know what I mean? I mean that's not there.
Sure. A day after summarily bashing the experience of going to live games and baking in the sun in September, I will say that if you do it, it's an all-day affair. You know, it's
the
an
NFL
all-weekend. No, the
college game. Yeah.
No, I was yesterday we're talking about how it's really crappy most of the year.
In the state of Florida early in the year, I really want to qualify what we talked about yesterday because when early season football, Tom, I feel nothing but supreme jealousy of spots all around the country, not named the Southeast. I mean, that third game of the season, if you're watching the Big Ten Network or you're watching somewhere out in the Pacific Northwest, you'll see people in some cases throwing down with the sweater and the sweatshirt. And I'm like, oh, now that is freaking heaven on earth. Really? Look at these guys at the Iowa game today. It's a high of 68 with a slight breeze and no humidity and perfect blue skies. Oh, to be there today as opposed to 98 humid next to this fat ass. Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. That's the toughie.
Sleeveless fat ass whose elbows are on my leg. Yeah.
So it is relative to where you are. I mean, I don't think that's true of all early season college football games.
But just in going to NFL games, I wasn't old enough, so I went to a lot of Bucs games, most Bucs games when I was under 21, for example. But still, it's kind of you get in and you get out. When the game's over, you leave. You leave as soon as you can. Get home as soon as you can. You don't want to be on Dale Mabry right after the Bucs game's over. And a lot of NFL stadiums are like that.
I've resigned myself to the fact that there's really – if that's a close game and you stay to the end, don't run to your car.
Right.
You walk to your car, get a beer, chill out. You're going to be a while.
But in the I think it also lends itself to the fact that you're playing on a Saturday versus a Sunday.
Yeah.
So you're in no rush. You're leaving tomorrow. So what? You go back to the tailgate and you hang out for 2 or 3 more hours.
I marvel at these people who get loose at NFL football games. Like the NFL has a real problem with it. It's unbelievable. Every year there's some sort of documentary or documented moment in which a fan from Buffalo dives through a table, somebody gets into a fight at a Washington game, and then, at some point you're going to hear said reporter talking about the horrors of being at an NFL football game and the statistics to back it up, usually. But it's Sunday. Do you people not have jobs? Yeah. I always walk around going, what are we doing here?
The Bucs lost.
You got to be at work tomorrow, man. I get how it happens in college with Saturday night football because, A, you're a kid and immature. You're a student. You walk all around that stadium. It's not the adults you see face first in the bushes. It's the student body. It's some dude who got carried away with his buddies doing shots at noon for a 7:30 kickoff. Can't happen, hence the maintain mantra. But I always get it. I'm like, well, it is Saturday. He's got class on Monday.
Right. He probably didn't eat enough from Friday night when he was out too long anyway.
He doesn't have class tomorrow.
Right.
He's going to sleep till noon. His buddies are going to razz him about he missed the game. He's going to hydrate, gather himself, regret what he did, and get back on track Monday when he hits that first class. But the guy at the Bucs game, say it's a 4 p.m. kickoff that's zooted. I know he's going to lay asphalt on Monday, Tom, but it's hot out there. What are we doing?
Yeah, and the first game of the season, of course, is at 4 o'clock in Tampa.
It's always like, you got to work tomorrow, presumably. These tickets aren't cheap. I'm assuming you have a job.
Maybe for the first weekend you take Monday off ahead of time. Maybe that's what they do down there. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it is Tampa. It's famous Tampa, and we'll rip them for it because it's
a lot
more
of concrete.
It's a lot of sightseeing when you're at a Bucs game. A lot of tank tops and
a lot of controlled substances, and not the ones that are in the concession stands, man. Like there's a lot of them.
It's just a road
interesting smells in the end zone.
Put up. Oh, God help you if you're in the end zone. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyhow, this is a very wayward opening segment. I was just going to congratulate Marvin Wilson and Tamori and Terry for being preseason All-ACC. But we got sidetracked with yesterday's conversation. Well, it is Tuesday in late July. You got to hang in there with me. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
On with the great.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Weekdays at 1 p.m. on our new home in Tallahassee, 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Man, it's definitely summer. And with the heat wave, it's hard to keep my cooling costs down.
Have you checked out the many products and services the City of Tallahassee Utilities offers to help you save energy, water, and money?
What kind of products and services?
Well, the city offers ceiling insulation grants, energy efficiency loans, free energy audits, budget billing, and energy retrofit grants, which can help enhance energy efficiency and lower your bill. And the Weather Relief Assistance Program, or WRAP, is also available right now, which also offers a one-time payment option that lets you defer a portion of your bill until October.
Wow, I had no idea. Where can I find out more?
Simple. Visit talgov.com/YOU.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities connects you to more than electricity. With a variety of options to choose from, you can find products and services that help you save energy, water, and money. More options, more products, more savings. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968 to learn more.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Hurricane Michael was not kind to many of our homes and businesses. As I ride through Tallahassee, the blue tarps and missing shingles are abundantly visible. While a few missing shingles may seem like minimal damage, I assure you they are not. Leaks can occur, causing wood decay, interior damage, or mold growth within your home or business. We specialize in storm damages and insurance claims. Let us get your roof back to shedding water, not leaking water. Call us today. We can help. At T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Hendrick,
We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street, or find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Jason Fitz, Mike Golick Jr., L. Duncan.
I gotta be honest, after reading Mina's article, I was a little bit more favorable to kind of Baker and who he is as a person. I think that I've never been like the biggest Baker fan. It is refreshing that Baker is himself and really kind of says things sometimes out of turn, sometimes out of pocket. And he's kind of always unapologetically been himself.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
My Twitter timeline here that apparently the vote out of the ACC from the media, with Clemson basically having almost every single offensive player selected for first team All ACC, has elicited the kind of angst that has been dormant for a couple of weeks. As if just seeing the names present that way made people realize the distance between Clemson and the rest of the conference. And then it also issued in a run of folks taking a good long look at recruiting rankings. And I would suggest that if you don't want to be further depressed, don't do that. Don't do that. That gets you more depressed than what the media thinks the first team guard should be. Go look at the top recruits in the country and where they're signed.
At least only 11 can play at a time. That's the good news.
Yeah. So I guess that leads to this question. You know, we've talked a lot about is the gap between Clemson and the rest of the ACC akin to what Florida State was in the 90s? And I think to some degree, yeah, that's where we've arrived, and that is the scariest part about the distance that's grown between Clemson and Florida State. I don't care about the other teams in the conference. I care about us. How quickly that happened. The problem was I always admired Clemson's ability, or as of late, I've admired Clemson's ability not to recruit, because that hasn't been the thing that they would hang their hat on. It's been fine, but it hasn't been Alabama good. It hasn't been Georgia good. Now it's better than both. Now it's otherworldly. So once they ratcheted up that part of the equation is when I got very nervous, is where I went, okay, now this aggression will not stand, man. Across this line, we've got to start doing some things. And that leads me to this. What, if anything, can be accomplished this year that will put a dent in that? Because that's really the problem. It's not that they're better than us now. They are by a lot, and I can live with that. We've had long stretches where we were better than the rest of the ACC. Eventually, that changes. But what leads to that? Well, guys not living up to their potential, injuries, guys transferring, missteps off the field, but also the betterment of somebody around them gleaning and gaining some real stature in the recruiting world because of elevated play and PR and perhaps momentum developed by a coach's vision, right? That's the thing that begins to hack away at what feels like an insurmountable lead and in space between number one and number two. That's of any era, anywhere, any conference. That's where we're at now. But Clemson's gotten a foothold now on dominating in recruiting. In the past, it was about how much better they developed their players than we did. And now I'm like, well, damn, they don't even have to hardly do that if they're going to get the greater share of the 5 stars to boot.
Well, they had development, of course, on their side, a lot of key positions, but then they did get a game changer at quarterback that helped speed up that process.
And they continued to get that. And I guess my point is, when I go into this year, it's not about hey, we can't beat Clemson because they have this many. Trevor Lawrence is there. We're not beating him as long as he's there. It's, can you begin to close the gap leading to the season that Trevor Lawrence is gone?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you would this year if you win 8 or 9 football games. And it's not
not if they win 12 or 13.
Yeah, you can, because it's diminishing returns. Their 2 deep might be fortified, but listen, you've got to have 11 guys on the field that are capable of beating them before we even have the discussion. So I agree with you. They're getting better, but it's diminishing returns. They're just fortifying their 2 deep, whereas we're trying to stack a starting lineup that we could say, wow, there really aren't any.
Yeah,
weak
we need
points
our
there.
20. We need our 22 to be able to line up against their 22 and have it be a coin flip. We got to. How many years away are we from that being the case? And you're right. That's a much more obtainable goal. That is a 3-year goal. That is a.
I think so. Well, and here's why. Because if you think about it, I think it was David Hale that you were talking to last week. So many interviews, and I forget who said what. But didn't he cite Nick Saban saying something about having fun? Playing football, as though he was like the biggest, the most flattering thing to Dabo is that Nick Saban is injecting a little bit of fun into his rhetoric around his program.
He has felt the need to become more Clemson and Dabo-like, so his talking points are now shifting to accommodate that, whereas he's now saying, yeah, I mean, listen, it's not, look, we have a lot of fun around here, winning games and working hard. That's all part of it. That's any winning program. But we have our blast. We take the guys out to the lake and do the same sorts of things that Clemson does. And that was the doff of the cap. And according to David Hale, the true testament to what Dabo's built is that Nick is accommodating Dabo.
But if Clemson's program is the en vogue way to do things, win and have fun while doing it,
then we've got the right guy.
Yes, we do. Because think about it. I mean, they got the Saturday Night Live event coming up this weekend here on campus. It's a big event
Handle
every
that
year.
well, folks. Handle that well behind the scenes, guys. It's paramount.
They're going to. And what you're going to see in those interviews are a lot of kids saying that I was blown away by the culture and how real the coaches are. Every time they get on campus and they get a fair chance to talk to the coaching staff, that's the response. They all fall in love with this place. They just need a reason to say yes to it. So we already have that little foundation, that groundwork laid. We just need to be able to cash in on it by winning some football games. It all comes back to that. It's not just about attendance and generating revenue for the athletic department.
Yeah, no, it's about winning games.
Winning, well, that's what I'm saying. Winning,
that settles all of it.
Well, what I'm saying is winning is not just about the
right,
revenue and the tickets and all that stuff. It's also about giving this coaching staff a fair chance to resonate with kids on 2 fronts. One, the real face-to-face front, and then secondly, that we're like Clemson in the way that they have a lot of fun when they're here. The culture is something they want to be around. It's electric.
Well, every time you get into this discussion, you can feel somewhat devoid of hope, right? You can feel helpless, and you're just sort of, good God, I mean, how are we ever going to do it? But that's where I always bring up, again, the cyclical nature of the elite college football programs. There are stretches where, when you just look at rivalries, where you look at dominance within conference, where let's say it's the rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State, where one of those teams is dominating the rivalry for an extended period of time, and the other thinks we're hopeless, and then they're not. Suddenly they're not. That was certainly us with Florida, and in the conference, we were that team for the rest of the ACC forever until now it's Clemson, and there it goes. It happens, and of course, it's never happened for Miami. But that's just an aside. What I would tell you is that, it does take just one surge, and that could be a 9-win season this year, where a few guys that were apt to say no, say yes, and they're elite players, and now you're starting to get on even footing.
If we won 9 games last year, and I know you can laugh about it now in hindsight, but if we did, we would have gotten a lot of those blue chippers. I mean, all-world 4- and 5-star type players, more of them, to say yes to us. That's just how good this staff is at recruiting. I'm not hopeless about what's coming up, but I'm on edge because this year is critical.
Well, I keep pounding it home. The message that is that you gotta do something this year. Boise State had to replace their starting quarterback. They've got nothing of experience at running back coming back. They have to replace their best receiver. They do bring back their entire offensive line. The strength of their team should be their defense. It's the best in their conference, could be a top 40 defense in the country. So it makes for that matchup over in Jacksonville, given the stakes at hand for this season, all that more interesting with Florida State's offense supposedly going to be leaps and bounds better, although tied down by the holes on the offensive line, but a cogent, cohesive plan put together by Kendall Briles, a quarterback that can execute it, a real weapon on the outside, numerous weapons in the backfield. I think that game, it just continues to build and build and build in a way that doesn't seem on paper to make any sense, because you just see the two names of the schools and you go, oh, come on, why are we making this game out to be the matchup of the century? Well, it's not. I mean, we're not playing for a national title. They're not playing for a national title this year. We've played much bigger games. But as it pertains to the comeback and to getting some momentum, the magnitude of this game just feels so much bigger than when it was first announced. We're like, oh, isn't that cute? We're going to be playing Boise 2 games. Isn't that nice? Who could have ever envisioned that this would be sort of a launching point for something much more significant? And I think that's what that game is. That's why the nerves get started now. That's why post-ACC kickoff, I'm almost anxious. Just like, okay, look, I know we can bet all these different angles, and we're talking about college football as the whole. We can look at the NFL training. I just want to get to the damn game. I want to see how we play in that game.
Yeah, I think you can survive it if you lose, but I do get worried about the kid's psyche, you know?
What would they have to hang their hat on? They've had nothing in the way of a confidence builder. They had a last-second win against Boston College, who lost their last 3 games of the year. What did they do? What would they make them feel better? I mean, that game.
What did they have before that game? They've got nothing.
Right, but we're trying to give them something here. What I'm saying is this would be a same old, here we go again if you lose it. If you can't even beat Boise State and freaking Jacksonville, it's going to be 100 degrees. If they come all the way from Idaho and win that game.
That almost sounded like I clipped it, but I didn't.
No, I caught myself. You know, I would put together a slew of curse words.
If we ride together to Jacksonville and it doesn't get done and we lose the game.
Silence on the way home. We're going to stare out at the stars and hope we make it.
Ride in road 2. That's what I'll do. I'll give you your space and I'll just sit back there.
We'll both just be pondering the what's the point?
We'll take Sunday to ourselves, reconvene on Monday.
Willie, don't lose that game. I'm gonna text him.
Willie, don't lose that ball game.
Oh, you can't.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hardest to stop given the circumstances, believes ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim.
While the fight was somewhat one-sided, it was just competitive enough, and there were enough signs that Dadashev had earned the right to continue. And I really thought, to me, the stoppage at the time of the fight was absolutely perfect. I can't say anything different.
ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim. NFL, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bengals are signing receiver Tyler Boyd to a 4-year, $43 million extension. Cincinnati, though, still has unfinished business at wide receiver as A.J. Green is heading into the final year of his contract. Redskins cut leading tackler Mason Foster and will save $4 million against the salary cap. The Cowboys will release receiver Allen Hurns. Hurns was coming back from a gruesome ankle injury sustained in last January's wild-card win against the Seahawks. By cutting Hurns, the Cowboys will save $5 million against the cap. ESPN's Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst reporting that the NBA will investigate potential tampering during this summer's free agency. The probe will likely focus on some of the earliest reported deals on June 30th, which is the first day teams and reps for free agents were technically allowed to speak. New Orleans star rookie Zion Williamson, the number 1 pick in last month's NBA draft, signed a multi-year shoe deal with Jordan Brand. Terms were not disclosed, although multiple competitor brands had offered Williamson more than $10 million annually in their negotiations.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
Are you looking for a trucking company you can work with till retirement? If so, join the Early Trucking family that has been trucking for over 25 years. ETC is now hiring regional dry van drivers. ETC is now hiring drivers for regional milk tanker routes. Benefits include working with new equipment, a $65,000 average salary, paid time off and sick leave, several drop and hook locations, and a 6 days on, 2 days off schedule that runs mostly in the Southeast. ETC offers a benefit package that's second to none, including 401k, Blue Cross Blue Shield Health, vision and dental insurance, and a $25,000 life insurance policy while employed. Go to earlytruckingcompany.com to fill out an application. Help ETC keep agriculture in motion.
Hendrick.
Get to the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet, a proud partner of the Hendrick Automotive Group. Shop the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Find new roads in a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a 20-quart Orca cooler with the purchase of any new Chevy truck. New management, new buying experience, same Chevy. Come see us on Tennessee Street. Shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Cooler valued at $199. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Farmville Lewis Mester McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Farmville Lewis Mester McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
Come party every Friday night with live music at Pockets Pool and Pub. Check out the all-new Sizzlin' Summer Drink Special, including doubles for $1 more, Jaeger bombs for just $3, Y-bombs, and the Flaming Pockets Bomb for $5. Sharer Road off North Monroe. Why go home when you can go to Pockets?
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. If you think it's hotter than Georgia asphalt, wait till you experience Kraft Nissan's sizzling July summer sale, but because of the response, we've extended until month end. For starters, the hotter than a firecracker 2019 Nissan Rogues are all $4,000 off. Own any Nissan in the family, and you get an additional $1,000 loyalty cash. That's $5,000 off all Rogues in stock. We have over 90 to choose from. All 2019 Altimas are $5,000 off, and you get special interest rate of 1.9% for 60 months. You get both. Not hot enough? All 2019 Maximas and Muranos are $6,000 off, and you get special interest rates as well. And for the grand finale, 2019 Nissan Titan V8 Crew Cab start at only $29,950. Plus, Titan comes with America's best truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. No wonder Tallahassee is a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan Town. On Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Interest rates with approved credit. Prices include dealer preparation charges.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, and this is why players hold out and why players fight for bigger deals. If you were listening to the Sports Center, you know that the Dallas Cowboys have decided to release wide receiver Allen Hurns. Do you remember that? Gruesome injury in the playoff game? I sure do. It was against the Seattle Seahawks in a wild card victory, and I remember the play ended and the camera hadn't quite caught exactly what occurred, and when they scrolled back, he was writhing in pain, so you knew it was bad, and I just held my breath when they gave you the other angle for the replay in super slow motion, and you went, oh, no, feet aren't supposed to face that direction. That's not good. That's going to be career-threatening. And what it does now is that injury, by the way, required surgery to repair both the dislocation and also fractured fibula. He did return to work in an off-season program in which he said he was close to 90% and still working, still plugging away at trying to get back. Now the team decides, we're going to go and move it on down the road, and it will save the Cowboys $5 million against the cap by just straight up cutting him. So, again, you're a play away, and it's over. And teams do not hesitate to say, have a good one. And I get both sides of it. And that's why over the years, the more you learn about how these negotiations work, the less you resent a player who, albeit maybe under contract, decides to walk through those doors and say, I've outperformed this contract. You do realize that I'm a play away from never getting paid. I'd like my money now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Schefter's report from earlier today, and what the Cowboys wanted to do was clearly they approached Hurns and they said,
restructure.
We need you to restructure. We need to save some money for maybe another big signing this offseason, hint, hint. And he says, I'll do better on the open market. And they said, sure you will. Coming off that injury, good luck. And that's how this all went down.
Well, yeah, he's betting on himself, and the Cowboys, man, it's tough. That's his playing time already diminished because of Amari Cooper. So just start with that, right? They went out and got Amari Cooper. So Hurns was already by committee guy, right? He was a little bit more prominent in that committee before Amari Cooper got there, and his role had diminished. I don't resent the team. I get what teams have to do to protect themselves, and if you're injured and you can't perform at the level you were at and you're not an elite player, and I don't believe you're going to recover to the place where, once again, you'll be that player that we were counting on, but rather just a role player, I'm going to cut you if I can save $5 million, but that's also exactly why I'm always an advocate for the player who outperforms a contract and walks in a year early, 2 years early, and says, I need more money. This is a perfect example of that. I mean, it is about the business. It's about the money. It always is about the money. I mean, when you're being paid for your physical tools, for being able to do something that less than 1% of the population can do, you got to get paid now, because the second you can't do that, you're worthless to them, and they are going to cut your ass. They are going to do it. It's not a matter of, oh, well, they feel bad. That sucks. In the line of business, he suffered a catastrophic injury and a playoff game that he helped us win. Maybe we should cut him a rather significant check above and beyond what we would have to just because he's been such a loyal soldier. BS. It doesn't happen. There are rare moments where maybe there's a PR uptick, so they do it. But by and large, they say, thanks, man. It's been real. Fist bump. Need your playbook.
Out of curiosity, these are perhaps dangerous waters, but, the Pittsburgh Steelers front office and obviously its ownership group have been considered the class of the sport for a long time.
I took a hit last year, but yes.
Yes. But the Rooney family, right? And the legacy of sticking with coaches and obviously being consistent and fair. The Shazier thing, the fact that they pay him. Do you think it's solely PR, or are they trying to do the right thing by a good guy?
I don't know. Because I don't know the relationship or what he meant to that organization beyond his playing prowess.
It certainly is a PR boon.
It would be a jaded thing for me to say they're paying him for the PR. But I don't know. Unless I knew the inner workings of that, I don't know. How much are they paying? What are they paying? What's the percentage of what he gets of what his contract would have been? I tend to think... I don't give corporations and organizations a whole lot of credit.
What, you don't buy into the Boss in Disguise TV shows, that they're doing that out of the goodness of their own hearts?
No, I don't think so. So I don't tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they usually look after the working man all that much. So I would guess that is a little bit of PR. It certainly does help them, and if they are doing it because they think it's the right thing to do, well, then good on them. And really, in fairness, there are track records for all these places. There are organizations that have, by and large, done the right thing by their employees. And if that's the case, I know the Miami Dolphins, for example, are giving the defensive tackle who lost his arm his entire paycheck for the year.
Right. So here it is. It's called tolling. They're tolling his contract for 2019, and by that, the Steelers will pay him for the season and enable him to receive his regular medical insurance and count the season toward his player's pension as well. So, I mean, it's like a full... He's on the physically unable to perform list, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But this allows him to continue on for a better pension down the line. He gets all the benefits along the way, and he gets the contract.
It's a hell of a nice thing to do. It would feel to me to be the right thing to do. They don't have to, but I would think that would be terrible PR. So somebody in their organization would have pulled them aside and said, "You're really going to cut this man's money after he broke his neck playing for us? Probably not a good idea." He didn't break his arm. He broke his neck. He didn't break his foot. He broke his neck.
Sir, I'm not saying you want to, but even if you did, you can't.
You really can't. We got to pay the man.
Here's what
money.
You should do.
Yeah,
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, including the right thing to do. Yeah, that's a. But listen. It's funny, for as much as I advocate players walking in and withholding their service and demanding more money, whether they're under contract or not, I'm also the guy that will cut a running back tomorrow. He has a great...
Cut a running back, you don't say. This hasn't been a topic.
I'll cut a running... I will not pay your ass with the quickness, barring a catastrophic set of circumstances like a broken neck. If I can get away with not paying you and just moving on, I'm going to move on.
So if you were the Atlanta Falcons, you'd cut...
Devonta Freeman?
Yeah.
Yes.
You do it already.
I would have never paid him to begin with, but yes.
If we're stuck here...
Yeah, I'm moving on.
Doing as quickly as I can.
Oh, I don't... Running backs, no, man. Look at the way the game's played now. It's a passing game. Quarterbacks aren't allowed to be touched. The defenses can't guard anybody. It's line them up, spread them out, throw the football. The days where you can't win if you don't have a great running game are long gone. You can have a decent running game, which really is opened up by the elite passing game, and win a lot of football games. Look at the by-committee teams that have won Super Bowls. I mean, come on. You see retreads continuing to get jobs just for being efficient, not elite, but efficient.
So as I was looking at the Shazier stuff on the tolling, a video came up, and I was a little bit distracted. They have him doing deadlifts now. I mean, it's not absurd amounts of weight, but he can do deadlifts on his own.
I want so much for that guy to walk, as I do for anybody that ever suffers a spinal cord injury. But one thing that is disturbing is his insistence that he's going to play football again. The NFL, there's not enough insurance in the world. You can never let that guy take the field again, right? And I understand somebody would say, well, you can't limit what he's capable. I'm not limiting him from working as hard as he possibly can to get back to where he feels like he can play. I just think as a league, there's no way you let that guy back onto the field, right? I mean...
Unless he signs a lot of documentation beforehand.
I mean, goodness gracious. Give up the ghost, sir. It's over. I mean, the Steelers are paying your full salary. As Tom Lang just documented, you're not missing out.
They told it, man.
Yeah,
You've been told, baby.
You've been told. We should all be told if that's the deal. That's a good one. Yeah, that's... Anyhow, Alan Hearns is getting his ass cut. We knew that. And that the second it happened.
Well, yeah, that's you're right. I remember watching the play, and that was an interesting game from a gambling standpoint too, because a lot of numbers were teased in the last couple of possessions.
Almost in regular season form. We have taken a tragic story of broken necks, disability, shattered femurs into how did this affect the gambling aspect of what that game represents?
Now, hang on. I was only lending context to why I remember this game specifically. I was watching it very intently.
Did you get shafted by the way that game ended?
No. So it ended up being that so Dallas takes the lead, and I think I had Dallas in the number. But then Russell scores a BS touchdown down the stretch as they do. They go right down the field.
God.
Until he wants to test him, of course. Until he wants to test him.
Then he's just being tested.
But then they hit the over-under, and I had both. And so it was like I was going to trade one for the other. But I think I had three.
There was another aspect
I
to
had
this,
three.
wasn't it?
I had three levels to it. I think I had money line, number, and then also
You
the
got
over-under.
screwed somehow in this game.
I got 2-1. I had a 3-0.
You had a 3-0.
But there was a
late
2-1
movement and something weird happened.
I think there was a 2-point conversion that moved the other number. It was really, really interesting. And
was there a decision
gut-wrenching.
not to go or an inexplicable decision to go?
Maybe
Which
that's
was
what it was. Yeah.
I can't remember because I got screwed too. Now you reminded me there was no the Cowboys. Somebody went for 2 and got it, and there was no reason to do it. It didn't change.
I think it was Seattle.
Damn it, man!
But I think it
forgot all
moved.
about
It moved that.
That's
over
right.
under.
Those sons of bitches. That's right. I wasn't even worried about Alan Hearns. I couldn't believe it was a late score and a go for 2 for no reason that made no difference.
So I have the bad,
No
right?
difference.
Of that time of year, and the bad was Wake Forest Memphis,
Woo!
which they
But that won me money.
right. They were like 14 points away from their over/under in like the second quarter,
And then they couldn't score.
and then nothing happens.
Well, they gave a bunch of points the other way, and then that kid
And the
took
kid's
47
got-
attempts at a field goal.
He's got 3 kicks at it. All I need is 1 to work, and the 4th try, no good.
Well, we remember after all the timeouts and everything else, I was like, "There's no chance he makes this." And you knew it too.
No, I didn't.
You know?
I looked down at the carpet. I thought maybe if I don't look at it, I could be mad at myself for not watching it. But I will have reverse jinxed this thing into going through the uprights.
Kids, this is why, even though I tell you, under the guise of responsibility, that you ought not gamble on athletics, you can hear that tinge of encouragement to do the opposite. because this is what happens.
And you're of age, of course.
Yes, because this is what happens. This is where meaningless games become very, very meaningful.
They ever?
And my goodness.
And truly, that was the only bad bowl result I got. The bowl series for me, or season for me, was a lot. It helped me recover from a bad regular season.
Bowl seasons are the great unknown, man. You've got all kinds of factors, some of which have nothing to do with the X's and O's and football prowess, but more to do with motivation, suspensions, everything else.
Well, the easiest
off-season
one,
coach movements, you name it.
But the easiest one was Clemson Notre Dame. You can't set that number big enough, man. I mean, really.
Why is it every time Notre Dame's involved in a postseason game of significance, you just race to the window to bet as much money as you can on their opponent? Like anybody Notre Dame's facing, if they're worth their salt, you're taking that team to beat their ass senseless.
Well, I've also learned to go with Clemson in round 1 too. They just tend to do that. They tend to beat you into the ground. They did to Oklahoma a few years back. They shut out Ohio State, sent Urban Meyer into a tizzy, and then last year they took care of Notre Dame, no problem.
Well,
to say nothing of the national championship
and
game.
Everybody would have. Every time Notre Dame gets there, we go, you've got no business. That's like that. Sorry, Georgia fans. We're reminding you of something you know all too well. If you had found a way to win that game against Alabama, you would have had that national title because you'd have beat Notre Dame by 4 touchdowns.
If we didn't blank the pooch up in, Raleigh and 5 turnovers against Florida, that's our title.
5 of them.
If we had Greg Reed on that team,
it
might have been enough.
I don't think it would have prevented the spinny-to-do.
No, but we wouldn't have gotten there. We would have gotten a big punt return at some point.
That's true. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Thursday, or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the social agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday Collegetown deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
Man, it's definitely summer. And with the heat wave, it's hard to keep my cooling costs down.
Have you checked out the many products and services the City of Tallahassee Utilities offers to help you save energy, water, and money?
What kind of products and services?
Well, the city offers ceiling insulation grants, energy efficiency loans, free energy audits, budget billing, and energy retrofit grants, which can help enhance energy efficiency and lower your bill. And the Weather Relief Assistance Program, or WRAP, is also available right now, which also offers a one-time payment option that lets you defer a portion of your bill until October.
Wow, I had no idea. Where can I find out more?
Simple. Visit talgov.com/YOU.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities connects you to more than electricity. With a variety of options to choose from, you can find products and services that help you save energy, water, and money. More options, more products, more savings. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968 to learn more.
This morning you were in a rush and accidentally shaved too much. You bushwhacked your facial hair. Kinda looks like you were mauled by a bear. Now in the mirror you see a mutton chop hybrid goatee. It's who you are now. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And try the $1 grilled breakfast burrito with fluffy eggs and crispy bacon wrapped in a warm tortilla. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online and enter a minute at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Junior welterweight Maxim Dadashev has died as a result of brain injury sustained in an 11th round knockout loss on Friday night. He was 28 years old. That fight on Friday, grueling and one of the hardest to stop given the circumstances, believes ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim.
While the fight was somewhat one-sided, it was just competitive enough, and there were enough signs that Dadashev had earned the right to continue. And I really thought, to me, the stoppage at the time of the fight was absolutely perfect. I can't say anything different.
ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim. NFL, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bengals are signing receiver Tyler Boyd to a 4-year, $43 million extension. Cincinnati, though, still has unfinished business at wide receiver as A.J. Green is heading into the final year of his contract. Redskins cut leading tackler Mason Foster and will save $4 million against the salary cap. The Cowboys will release receiver Allen Hurns. Hurns was coming back from a gruesome ankle injury sustained in last January's wild-card win against the Seahawks. By cutting Hurns, the Cowboys will save $5 million against the cap. ESPN's Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst reporting that the NBA will investigate potential tampering during this summer's free agency. The probe will likely focus on some of the earliest reported deals on June 30th, which is the first day teams and reps for free agents were technically allowed to speak. New Orleans star rookie Zion Williamson, the number 1 pick in last month's NBA draft, signed a multi-year shoe deal with Jordan Brand. Terms were not disclosed, although multiple competitor brands had offered Williamson more than $10 million annually in their negotiations.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, hello. Hope you're well on this Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. What'd you say it was? A week from Thursday? Week from Thursday is that football game, buddy?
Yeah, August 1st. Yeah.
All right. Come on. Let's get to, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, go back, get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours to be posted both on our website, in the archived audio, as well as on iTunes, where you can go rate, review, share with those looking to find quality content like the Jeff Cameron Show. There you go.
So let me ask you this question. Obviously, we have many sponsors for Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Tonight, right after the show.
Next Thursday, I could air the Reds at the Braves, or I could take the Hall of Fame game.
I think the Reds and the Braves carry greater weight there.
We could have the Hall of Fame game here.
We could. You caught me with the start of the second hour, Tom. I know we have a show to do, but I was reading. I was doing other things, and I thought, they've called me into duty here. But I was reading the list on warchant.com of the participants, those coming to the SNL event, the big SNL visitor list. Because I am more locked into recruiting than I've ever been before. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see if my man, Jeff Sims, superstar FSU recruit and future stud quarterback, was going to be here, and he is. The ringleader's got to be here. Mm-hmm. That guy engenders a lot of love for the Garnet and Gold, and thus I heap a lot of praise and expectation on him. So, but he's one of 4 quarterbacks that are going to be here. There are a lot of other quarterbacks that are going to be joining him on that list. The others I've never heard of because I have not concerned myself with them, knowing that Jeff Sims is going to be here. It doesn't mean that they don't matter. They do.
So in your mind, have you etched it in ink that he's going to be starting as a true freshman?
Well, no, because James will be back.
Oh, well, I wondered, sometimes I don't know how low you are on James, how high you are on Sims.
I am a bit of an enigma when it comes to James, aren't I? Because on the one hand, I certainly praise the young man, and I defended him his freshman year when they threw his ass out there with no experience whatsoever in a system that absolutely did not cater to him, meaning the coach didn't bother to pare it down in the way that he should have behind a line that couldn't block you. And people were ripping him, and I thought, what are we doing here?
Wait, you forgot one thing, though. What about all the hype that they threw at his feet before he even took a snap?
Cruel and unusual, but so I've always had a bit of a soft spot for him because I think a lot of things were on display right there. A coach who had just called it a day and moved on and just whatever happens. And then B, real toughness, mental and physical toughness, real toughness on display that is both admirable, but also revealing of what's possible coming up this year or any year that he has any help at all from an offensive line, because he'll stand in there to make throws. He will. And that is something that obviously everybody wants to see in a quarterback. You don't always know you're going to get it, and it can be beaten out of you. It can absolutely be beaten out of you. And for that kid weighing a $105 soaking wet behind that sieve of an offensive line with a locker room that is an absolute mess and a season that is lost, to hang in there and take ass-kicking after ass-kicking and then marginally improve by season's end, despite all of those factors, made me admire him as much as I've admired almost anybody at that position in a long time. So I root for him. The fan in me and the thought of what I want to see in a football player, that guy has to succeed. Like, as a Knoll, we should all want that kid to succeed. He loves it here. He's been through the ringer. His teammates, he's beloved. He engenders what we want in terms of the loyalty, dedication, hard work, belief in the locker room, off the field, on the field. All of it's there. So every intangible, every tangible, everything you want. Now, the tools are somewhat lacking. He's not an elite passer. He's not as accurate as I want my quarterbacks to be because we're Florida State, damn it. You can get that kid in here. You can get kids like that, the kinds that I'm describing that are accurate, that are elite passers here. But he also hasn't always had the best of circumstances. So who knows? He can improve greatly with a little bit of time, a little bit of confidence that's gained from not getting blasted every time you release a pass. So I root for him. It may sound like I'm down on him. I just don't think that he's shown me that he's the caliber of quarterback that we should be recruiting to Florida State University. But that's because I hold us at a very high standard for quarterback. I mean, think about the history of quarterback at this school. All three Heismans were quarterbacks, and many that didn't win it put up prolific numbers. They were prodigious. I understand everyone played different set of circumstances, different lines, different eras, all of that. But, man, we have a long history of elite quarterback play. So maybe I'm being a little unfair in the standard I'm holding him to, especially with the lot he was thrown into.
I'm glad to hear that you still like him more than a true freshman in Sims. That's good. So he's the solution James Blackman is for the next 2 seasons if he's healthy.
Yeah, unless Sims comes in and just wows us to in a way. I mean, I'm not going to hold down the ceiling on Sims in year one either, Tom, but yes, of course. No, I don't want to have to throw Sims to the Wolves. I'd like to get back to a case where we are able to redshirt guys or we are able to give guys time to acclimate, to gain weight, to get stronger, to understand the playbook, and to get more comfortable. I mean, one of the hardest things in the world to do, we all know this. If you went away to college somewhere, you know it's difficult. It's difficult for the regular student body, let alone a student athlete, to adjust to all of the new set of circumstances and the social changes and the upheaval you go through being away out of the household, all that. So I'd like guys to have time, not be thrown to the wolves.
As we're on the eve of fall practice, which is kind of cool to say, one thing I would caution people is before you read those open practice notes, assuming that we do have the first couple of short stays open, if James misses throws, that's what he does, man. I think we have to operate under the assumption that he's a better game day player than he is a practicer. He's a little bit more honed in on game days. I mean, when we saw camp, you know, in Coach Taggart's defense and the coaching staff's defense, if DeAndre wasn't a problem behind the scenes, I think it was kind of at least a no-brainer between those two candidates because all the reports out of camp were James was pressing a little bit. He was missing some things. Well, DeAndre was making more of the throws he was supposed to.
We saw him missing throws. We saw the drills that Walt Bell and them were doing where they were throwing things at their feet and all that, and James was throwing balls in the dirt.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. We were there for the open practice days, but beyond that, when it was close to the media, the reports remained the same. That, you know, DeAndre was making more throws than James was. But the problem was there was more dynamics to that choice. But then James shows up on a game day, and while he misses a few throws, you still like what he brings to the table. It's not the same guy that you read about in practice reports that we've seen on the field.
Yeah, James, if we're talking about inaccuracy and we're talking about those things that hold him back from taking that next step to where I would have an abundance of confidence that he could be a much, much better player than he already is, it would be those intermediate throws that he just so often buries. Now, to his credit, he didn't sail a lot of throws. And if you're trying to keep your receivers and tight ends alive, it's best you not sail those throws. Also, if you want to avoid interceptions, it's best you not sail those throws. So if your miss, if you will, to use golf terminology, if your miss is that you're just throwing it off the ground a foot in front of him, That's a better miss.
Well, and also, God forbid you develop a player on the offense. And I think that's the other thing about this staff. We focus on the offensive line so much. We even talked about receiver a little bit because of Tamorian's availability last week at the ACC kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked him about Ron Dugans, and he was talking about how Coach Dugans is getting his footwork and his hand placement and high pointing the ball. He's getting all that refined. But, developing a quarterback would be nice. I know that Jimbo was considered the quarterback whisperer, but after Jameis, who got better? Who got better over time?
Who got better before Jameis?
Ponder.
Did EJ take a step back?
I think EJ's injury put a block in his brain. Ponder got better.
Yeah, because of the play calling and because of – I don't know that he got –
You could ask, did Jameis get better? But he had a high ankle problem in the early part of 2014. That's tough.
I'm never going to question the acumen of the previous coach. So, I mean, I speculative. It's tough. There were plenty of guys that didn't get better. They stayed the same or they didn't get better.
Well, okay, then it would be nice to develop a quarterback.
Right. That's just what you should say. I agree with that. It would be nice. In the interim, Tom, one of the ways that that's made possible is an overabundance of depth and talent on the offensive line, which if you're looking at that list of the SNL, you're seeing Isaiah Walker, come on down, Thomas Schrader, Marius Mims, Caleb Johnson, Brady Ward, Lloyd Willis, Michael McLaughlin. Hey, go look up Michael McLaughlin. Ethan Mort, Manny Rogers, Jerzon Newton. Oh, those are defensive tackles. Sorry. I needed to stop at Ethan Mort. I wanted to just put a clarion call out to the offensive linemen that may be making their way to Tallahassee over the weekend.
Sometimes guys have names that sound like offensive linemen. If you're just going by names.
You don't think Michael McLaughlin is?
I think he might be a good long snapper.
Let's look up Michael McLaughlin. Let's see if you're besmirching the McLaughlin name.
Tell me it says LS next to his name.
No, he is a 6'8", 260-pound class of 2021 tackle.
The biggest long snapper in the nation.
He is his top interests, Michael's top interests, are Miami, Florida, and Florida State. He is a state of Florida kind of guy. He is from Parkland, Florida.
I thought you were going to say like Beyonce and
he likes
Marvel.
Yeah. He likes action movies, in particular the Fast and the Furious franchise, Beyonce music, and Florida football. Not in that order, according to McLaughlin's profile here on the Rivals Network. No, so anyhow, he's 6'8". My guess is he's got a frame that'll allow him to be 360 pounds. And currently, it would look like he's already received an offer from Miami. Prospect interest is medium in Florida and Florida State. I'm just going to tell you this. At that size, man, 6'8", we got to do what we got to do, right? Here's a commit. Zane Herring is a commit on the offensive line, Tom. This is the stuff that people want. Offensive line nuggets. It may be boring summertime radio, but you recall we took a good long look at Zane when he committed. And one of the things that disturbed us, made us wonder whether or not Zane, who obviously I'm sure is a good kid, we also wondered whether or not he was a serial killer, was that haircut. If you go and look at the picture.
I don't remember this discussion. That must have been from headlines.
I posited that we can do better up there. We can do better. Oh, no. I know he's from Madison, so, there's not, the examples are not. But we can do better. You want me to show you this?
Director Matthew objects.
No, he agrees. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing there?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
The shorter answer is I really don't know.
That's not what we do.
Well, he might have a little crazy,
that's what I mean.
Pre-criminal.
He's got a little crazy to him. I
incognito
like it.
in him.
He's a verbal commit to Florida State.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid.
That name fits offensive line play anyway.
Zane Herring?
That's an interior play, though. That's not a tackle.
You don't picture him to be a burner on the outside?
No. He can't bend like a tackle, but he can maul you in the running game.
The verbal commit means we outshine the likes of Florida Atlantic, Marshall, Pitt, and Georgia Tech.
Well, maybe he'll get better offers after this year's film, and he sticks with us.
He's coming. He's going to be here for the SNL event, buddy. Let's see who Thomas Schrader is before we take a break. Oh, this kid looks a little rugged. 6'5", 277 pounds from Venice. Better offer sheet. Not a great offer sheet, but a better offer sheet. I see a Kentucky in there, a Florida State, a Georgia. Okay, not a great offer sheet.
Speaking of Schrader, Hank Schrader, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Didn't realize Lethal Weapon 2 was on the other night.
He's in it?
He's in it.
He has hair?
He's somewhat, but he's skinny and young. It's crazy.
His character's the most tragic in that show.
Oh, yeah.
What happens to that poor bastard?
It's one of the most well-written, though, because you write him off yourself as a viewer, like, oh, this meathead.
And then you find out he's smart.
Yeah, like really smart.
And he suffers from PTSD and everything else with the turtle thing.
Depression.
Oh, it's awful.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Domes, it's okay, because from on high, I see a serious problem in this town. Scores of people like yourself, confused, hungry, not knowing what to eat for a delicious downtown breakfast or lunch. Well, have no fear. Just a stone's throw away from my observation deck are the best people in the business. Metro Deli. Breakfast, eat, sandwiches, and wraps too. Metro Deli is the spot for you. Oh, yeah, Metro Deli. And hey, don't throw stones from my deck. That's not cool. Someone might get hurt.
Hendrick. It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. DaleJr.BuickGMC.com.
Sizzling summer savings continue at Jerry's Cigar Shop's Christmas in July sale. Through the month of July, you can buy one and get one free on thousands of the top name brand cigars only at Jerry's. Buy any specially marked 5-pack of cigars and get a second 5-pack free. These deals are only good in the month of July and only while supplies last, so hurry in before they're all gone. Stop by either Jerry's Cigar Shop locations today off Scherer Road on North Monroe Street or the new Northeast location on Cary Forest Parkway.
It's back to school. This week at Target, save $10 when you spend $40 on kids' apparel for every school list. Save $10 when you spend $40 on kids' jeans.
That's genius.
Save $10 when you spend $40 on fun, twirlable dresses.
One of each, please.
Even save $10 when you spend $40 on Target's awesome graphic tees.
Terrific.
This week only, save $10 when you spend $40 on kids' apparel. Low prices for back to school at Target. Restrictions may apply.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Pickens Tree Service has over 25 years of experience in cutting down trees and removing stumps in the Tallahassee area. While you may appreciate the beauty of foliage on your property, certain trees may pose a health risk to the owners. Pickens Tree Service will help you identify these potential issues and take preventative measures to remove the risk along with the tree. Just give them a call for a free estimate at 850-590-1833. That's 850-590-1833. Pickens Tree Service, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quincy,
Boise, Crawfordville, and surrounding areas.
Rich Eisen here. The best golfers in the world are set to compete for glory at the Honda Classic in beautiful Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. But right now, you can tee off and take a drive in the refined Honda Insight or the sophisticated Accord, or venture off course in the rugged Passport. And no matter how long your drive is, you'll venture with peace of mind thanks to Standard Honda Sensing, a suite of safety and driver assistive technologies. So start your season with an ace and watch the Honda Classic February 28th through March 3rd.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And this stinks. This guy lived right down the road from me, or bought a house right down the road from me growing up, and this is not going to end well. It doesn't take the detective cap, but I just saw this. I don't know why. Just come out today or yesterday, but another DUI charge for Dwight Gooden. His second arrest, and I sound like Magic Johnson. Let's talk as men, Magic Johnson.
That is right spot freaking on.
Did I get it?
You got that on command.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Tell me again,
Magic Johnson.
Why are we here?
The Lakers are supposed to win this thing.
Ah, yes, I remember. Do you see that map?
Magic Johnson. No.
No.
Let us talk.
All right. I just wanted to, because I screwed up in the same way that Magic Johnson did. I had to make fun of myself. Anyhow, former Major League pitcher Dwight Gooden charged with driving while intoxicated in New Jersey on Monday. That was his second arrest in the last 2 months. He's 54 years old. He was stopped while driving the wrong way on a one-way street. That'll do it. He was arrested June the 7th as well on possession of cocaine and driving under the influence, amongst other charges. That was also in New Jersey. Dwight, we got to get out of New Jersey. It's time to ride. Nothing good's happening in Jersey. In fairness, this may be a you problem and not a New Jersey problem. Seems there's enough evidence to suggest as much, since you also had these similar arrests in the state of Florida and New York and any state you've ever hunkered down in for more than a day. The 1985 National League Cy Young Award winner has struggled, to say the least, with drug and alcohol addiction over the years. Suspended from baseball for part of the 94 season, all of the 1995 season after testing positive for cocaine both times. He has been arrested several times, served jail time in 2006. That's no good, man. That's no good. I used to see Dwight Gooden at the 7-Eleven right off of 34th Street twice a week. I would go in there. I'd ride my Mongoose BMX bike to go get a Slurpee with my buddy Chris Sturgeon. And we would go in there, and invariably we'd see some $100,000 car parked outside the 7-Eleven. We knew exactly who it was. And there was Dwight Gooden, feeling it, getting a Slurpee just like us.
He was getting a Slurpee.
Always. He had a thing for Slurpees just as we did, but I think his motivation was different. I think he left that Slurpee, got in that car, and put a little something in that Slurpee for the ride. Oh, man.
Did people do that?
Yeah, back then, yeah. It was the thing, sure.
Why do I feel like Millar would know the answer to that?
Millar would get a Slurpee and say, put a tall boy in it.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Get out of jury duty.
That I'm famous.
That works.
What's the worst thing you've ever said to get out of jury duty? There's the question.
I've told him that I can't possibly be on a jury because I think everyone should be imprisoned.
So you went the crazy route.
Oh, super crazy.
Everybody does that. The next time I get chosen, I'm going to act goofy. And just, and by goofy, I'm going to say something absurd like death penalty.
And then what you really get them is I showed up in a dress.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. If you think it's hotter than Georgia asphalt, wait till you experience Kraft Nissan's sizzling July summer sale, but because of the response, we've extended until month end. For starters, the hotter than a firecracker 2019 Nissan Rogues are all $4,000 off. Own any Nissan in the family, and you get an additional $1,000 loyalty cash. That's $5,000 off all Rogues in stock. We have over 90 to choose from. All 2019 Altimas are $5,000 off, and you get special interest rate of 1.9% for 60 months. You get both. Not hot enough? All 2019 Maximas and Muranos are $6,000 off, and you get special interest rates as well. And for the grand finale, 2019 Nissan Titan V8 Crew Cab start at only $29,950. Plus, Titan comes with America's best truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. No wonder Tallahassee is a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan Town. On Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Interest rates with approved credit. Prices include dealer preparation charges.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
This morning you were in a rush and accidentally shaved too much. You bushwhacked your facial hair. Kinda looks like you were mauled by a bear. Now in the mirror you see a mutton chop hybrid goatee. It's who you are now. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And try the $1 grilled breakfast burrito with fluffy eggs and crispy bacon wrapped in a warm tortilla. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Junior welterweight Maxim Dadashev has died as a result of brain injury sustained in an 11th round knockout loss on Friday night. He was 28 years old. That fight on Friday, grueling and one of the hardest to stop given the circumstances, believes ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim.
While the fight was somewhat one-sided, it was just competitive enough, and there were enough signs that Dadashev had earned the right to continue. And I really thought, to me, the stoppage at the time of the fight was absolutely perfect. I can't say anything different.
ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim. NFL, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bengals are signing receiver Tyler Boyd to a 4-year, $43 million extension. Cincinnati, though, still has unfinished business at wide receiver as A.J. Green is heading into the final year of his contract. Redskins cut leading tackler Mason Foster and will save $4 million against the salary cap. The Cowboys will release receiver Allen Hurns. Hurns was coming back from a gruesome ankle injury sustained in last January's wild-card win against the Seahawks. By cutting Hurns, the Cowboys will save $5 million against the cap. ESPN's Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst reporting that the NBA will investigate potential tampering during this summer's free agency. The probe will likely focus on some of the earliest reported deals on June 30th, which is the first day teams and reps for free agents were technically allowed to speak. New Orleans star rookie Zion Williamson, the number one pick in last month's NBA draft, signed a multi-year shoe deal with Jordan Brand. Terms were not disclosed, although multiple competitor brands had offered Williamson more than $10 million annually in their negotiations.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Looking at this Zion Williams deal, it's got to be a hell of a thing to be that age. We're not talking about the money right now. I mean, the money is the money. To be freed to do what you have to do to be in peak. Like, there's nobody who signs a deal like this after 1 year of college. He signed with the Jordan brand, obviously. And it's not shocking at all. But if you get paid in the neighborhood, that most people think that this is the kind of deal that will make him $1 billion. $1 billion. That's where we are now. $1 billion over the course of 5 to 6 years, whatever it might be. There is no excuse for you not to be in supreme condition at the start. You've got no other worry in this world. I get it. Falling in love, making friends, buying a house.
Taking care of your family.
Taking care of your family. These are all things that, whether you have money, these are all things we have to do. I got you. But, boy, all of that, besides the girlfriend part, becomes a lot easier when you have $1 billion.
I think he's got a really, really good chance to maximize whatever he's going to be.
I do too.
Because he seems to be as grounded as one could expect a young man to be in that situation. From even the interviews at ACC tip-off that I saw last year, or not the ACC tip-off, but the tournaments that they played, all the way through the end of the year, and then obviously the draft coverage, pre-draft coverage when he was at the lottery thing, which is a really awkward thing because it's like the lottery balls for who gets this guy who's sitting in the room, and then he actually gets selected. He seems to be as well raised. I mean, even that whole class, most of that first round, all the kids that were interviewed on the stage or that actually came up to the desk to speak with Reese and Jay Billis, and they all seem to be really well adjusted to the situation of that they were going to be multimillionaires, hundreds of millions of dollars, especially to the top 5.
This segues nicely into a question I'm going to have again about Ezekiel Elliott and whether or not the Cowboys pay him. And this has to do with trust. And I'll read you a quote, which I think is remarkable. Michael Jordan, in a statement about the signing of Zion Williamson. Zion's incredible determination, character, and play are inspiring. He's an essential part of the new talent that will help lead the brand into the future. He told us he would shock the world, and he asked us to believe in him, and we do. I think back on guys that have handled this kind of wealth, transcendent talent, and obviously expectation. And it's a long line of guys that couldn't handle the pressures that come with, or that did less than they should have given their supreme athleticism. But it is cool that we've lived in an era where there's no doubt LeBron James has made the most out of his abilities and has been, by and large, an upstanding citizen. There's nothing to point. You can dislike personalities. That's fine. Not everybody likes everybody else. I get it. But LeBron has never been in trouble. He's a hard worker. He's won. He's made people around him better. He cares. He's lived up to the talent, and he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's handled that, I think, by and large, with dignity and grace. Something that's hard to do when you come from a single-parent family, you grow up poor, and you're given hundreds of millions of dollars, and you haven't had a male role model to show you how to be a man, all that stuff. That's remarkable. So I never take that for granted that I got to see that, and I admire that attribute and that accomplishment and his, obviously, acumen for the game. But we saw it with Tiger Woods as well. Tiger Woods has, in terms of living up to the billed as a phenom, met those expectations and then some. Now, obviously, his personal life, he had real problems, but not a criminal. Not a criminal.
Right.
He just fooled around, and, okay, that's, judge that how you will. But again,
LeBron's wanted to take on the world's problems a little bit more than Tiger.
Right,
Agree with him or disagree. He's more passionate to get involved in the societal discussion. Tiger Woods has stayed away from it.
Tiger's very corporate.
He's very corporate.
Yeah, he's completely corporate. Now, we're talking about shades of admiration, right? Where you'd say, well, I admire that he does this and he's willing to stick his neck out and stands up for what is right. And I absolutely recoil at the idea that this man could make nearly $1 billion and doesn't have anything to say, even if he had a mouthful, and that's Tiger, right? You can do that. But when we're talking about the bigger picture of did he meet talent potential? More than most would have guessed. Has he ever been in trouble? Not with the law.
They're both on Rushmore for their sports.
That's right. And now you throw in the mix, what we have here in Zion Williamson, and I'm rooting for him. I like to see those kinds of dreams come true and a player live up to that kind of preternatural ability. It's so rare. There's no he'll have plenty of people that root against him because we love to chop people down when they're on a pedestal. But I agree with you. I haven't seen anything yet. Now, until I do, I'll root for him. But I haven't seen anything yet. There have been no cracks in the armor. There have been nothing to suggest that he's going to be a petulant child about all this.
I can't believe it. And that's what exactly, with social media being like this, it's something that brings out the worst in you or the best in you. It's like it's a catalyst.
People, yeah.
It's exponential, right? It takes whatever you are to an exponent because it's binary. That's the worst thing about social media. It's all or nothing. And so Zion's raised in that era. LeBron wasn't raised in that era. He was raised more in my time, which was, the internet's around. But Twitter, Facebook, the fact that it's connected and following you at all times, Instagram, people have cameras in their hands at all times. Zion has lived in a very different world. And for me, to see that kid come up through all of that and still just seem like a nice guy. He seems like a simply nice person.
YouTube famous at a very young age and is yet humbled by, like we said,
he seems earnest. Like he wants to do everything he can to make good on the franchise's investment, on the sports investment. He seems motivated to do that for the right reasons. It's just, I find that amazing considering all the extra attention somebody like Zion has than even LeBron. And LeBron's games were on TV in high school, but he wasn't followed around 24/7 like Zion has been.
Most of the time, I think if you're looking for a common thread or personality trait is a better way of saying it, in guys that have an awful lot and could easily, because of that, become entitled and really difficult to handle on a day-to-day basis. Listen, if you're given certain privileges and you have the ability to do certain things that most in the world can't, there is a sense of entitlement that comes with that. It's unavoidable. I would say it even in the press, on a much lower scale. Like you and I can get into any part of the stadium we want with our press pass. If all of a sudden somebody gave a slip, I'm not so sure every time we'd be good about that. I mean, occasionally we might be like, yo, man, you see the placard? Like at some point, because you're just so used to people understanding and nodding and whatever. I'm not saying we're jerks. I'm saying it comes with the territory. If you have certain things given to you over and over and over again, eventually you take it for granted and you're taken aback the first time somebody really challenges that. Now, imagine that, and you're the face of Nike, and you're a billionaire, and people are at your beck and call at all times, and they've been kissing your ass since you were 15, 14 years old, to show no signs of that, to show no signs that entitlement or arrogance is in play. It is remarkable because who's mature enough at that age? You don't know. I mean, you haven't lived long enough to know that you can't do that. So I think the root that we usually see, the commonality in all the guys that make it, that handle it well, is a sense of gratitude. Somewhere along the way, I don't know if it was a teacher, a parent, whomever, that instilled in them that, look, you have, for whatever reasons, you won the genetic lottery, man. And I'm not taking away from your work ethic because you have worked really hard to sharpen your skill set and to hone what you have. But make no mistake, just from the DNA. You're 6'8", 270 pounds with a 40-plus inch vertical. You didn't work hard to make that happen. That just happened. And you've been given that gift.
Yeah.
Understand that not everybody gets that. Be appreciative of that. Have a measure of gratitude, and it'll shape you. It'll guide you all the way. Most of these guys have that.
Yeah.
Who make it.
He's like LeBron James and Aaron Donald. And there you go. That's what you're looking at.
But I root for that. I root for guys like that who show that ability, and it's so rare. I hope he makes it. I hope he does, and because we will have been privy to see 3 or 4 guys that have ability that is uncanny, and then also have achieved to that level.
That draft was incredible for that. I mean, usually you get some guys that are emotional, but it just seemed. I mean, for the 2 hours that I watched,
they
I was
were all
it's
filled
one
with
story
gratitude
after the other. The mom's there or the mom's not there, and it's just unbelievable. The dad's standing by one of the players' sides, and they're both kind of crying and hugging. And you're like,
I can't watch the draft.
These guys
I'm
are
gonna be here
awesome.
balling all night.
This is awesome.
Yeah, really that class does seem like one we can all get behind and root for, because one after the other seem to be very appreciative of what just took place. Life-altering money, generational money. It is pretty cool to watch. Okay, so we go from that to this. Yesterday, I brought up whether or not the Dallas Cowboys should pay Ezekiel Elliott. That's the story going into training camp. And by the way, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I bristle because it's all anybody's talking about nationally now. That and the Odell Beckham stuff, but whatever with that. That's a non-story. The Ezekiel Elliott story is a real story. They've got him for another couple of years. They can really pin him for 4. They can control his rights for 4. So you're in a situation where you're being paid commensurate to the 10th best running back in the league when you are the best or second best running back in the league. To use a basketball term, his usage rate is awfully high. So they're running him into the ground, as they should, because he's uniquely talented. You draft people because of their skill set, and then you put that skill set to work. I've got no problem with teams doing that. They don't need to worry about the long-term future of Ezekiel Elliott. But he does. And so, yeah, you got problems off the field. And this all adds up to a tough negotiation. Now, he hasn't announced that he's going to hold out. Based on what I'm seeing on a daily basis from the national media, if he hasn't thought of it, he will now. And most assuredly, the only thing you can do when you're trying to leverage for more money and to be paid like the top back that you are is to withhold your services. That's just the way of the world, especially while you're under contract. You can't really do anything else. You can't just say, I'm going to go play over here, because you can't. So it's always an ugly situation, and I always like to do this. You and I have done this with every running back that comes down the pike. We always say, yay or nay on this guy. Yesterday I told you there was one guy, and it was Saquon Barkley, that I would pay. And I'm waffling on Ezekiel Elliott, but he might be the other because of body type. And obviously, you look at what he produces, he is an unbelievable player. The problem is, here's where missteps off the field come into play. This goes back to what we were just talking about. If a group like the Jordan brand is going to invest upwards of $1 billion in somebody, they have to believe you are not going to screw them off the field with PR blunders, criminality, and poor look. You've got to be an ambassador across the board. Now, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know that I need him to be an ambassador across the board, but I do need to know that he's going to be eligible to play football for me. And that can be in question with Ezekiel Elliott, who has found himself afoul of the law or codes of conduct per the NFL on numerous occasions in a rather brief career. Would you make him the highest paid running back in football?
I'm looking at his numbers here, and he's missed 8 games so far in his first 3 years. Some of that suspension. So if you're looking for tread on the tire, right? He's a little bit more fresh in that regard because it's a half a season you get back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be apt to sign him now. You got to find a way that, let's say, 4 years' time, you can cut him and you don't lose any money, but you front load him a ton of money in between now and then. They don't have a lot in the way of playmakers. Right? So I think it's important that if he's going to come to you and say, I want more money now, can you restructure a rookie contract? I think you can, right? And just get him into the second one? I'd do it sooner than later. I wouldn't wait until year 4 is complete or he's in the option year or whatever. I'd go get it done like yesterday. And then if I have more leverage down the line in, say, 3 years' time or 4 years' time to cut him, then I'm still getting the most out of this guy. And if he's still good, then he lives out the rest of his contract, and that's fine. But I think the answer is yes, because he's only played 40 games so far, not including the playoffs in his career. So if you can make that deal today and get out of it in 3 or 4 years, then do it.
It's a weird deal, right? Because you know how when we go to arbitration in Major League Baseball and a stud pitcher goes in, and the rule of thumb is as a player, you don't want to be a part of those meetings because it's up to the organization to fight you on those dollars. And how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to make the case with the worst of what you do. Mm-hmm. They're going to find facets of your game that are pedestrian at the very least, right? And say, well, he does this, but he can't do this, this, and this. And that's what you would do if you were going to counter your argument for Ezekiel Elliott. He was 16th in the league last year in average yards per carry. The 3 backs with the highest average per carry who have regular roles with their teams were Kerryon Johnson with Detroit. Philip Lindsay did it in Denver. And Aaron Jones did it in Green Bay. These are not guys that are on Zeke's level, right? All of them, though, are younger than Ezekiel Elliott. None of them were first-round picks. We talk about the devaluing of running backs. There was an article 538 did that ran analysis of the value of running backs in the modern game. It pointed out that the total running back salaries have fallen almost 7% of the team salary cap in the last 6 years. Elliott's about to make 4.5% of the team salary cap this year. So you're factoring all these things. There are guys who that aren't household names that had better seasons than Ezekiel Elliott. Whether you're talking about receptions, Alfred Morris is a guy that you would point to just statistically speaking, not skill set. And yet, I watch the games and you watch the games. Yeah. There are a lot of factors that go into play that create those numbers. And then there's just pure ability.
Well, and the line wasn't as good for the first for a good significant portion of last year because they were missing some pieces. And I'd say this, here'd be my final counter to it. Okay, how valuable is Christian McCaffrey right now in today's NFL? Is he wildly valuable?
Yeah, because he does it all, right? He catches the ball out of the backfield and obviously runs the football effectively, which is not something they expected to be able to do 20 carries a game type guy, right?
So he had 80 catches his first year. He had 107 last year. He totaled 326 touches. So he's a lot of their offense, right? So Christian McCaffrey is extremely valuable. Okay. Ezekiel Elliott had 381 touches last year. He had 77 catches of his own on top of the fact that he rushed the ball 300 times.
Here's where you'd be making the case against him from the franchise's standpoint.
I wouldn't be, though. The reason I'm making the case for him is because he's all they got. So you might as well front
Cooper
load him.
emerged and played quite well. Dak Prescott's not terrible. I mean, they've got players. Come on now. It's not.
It all runs through him. It all.
I agree with you. I think he's a great player.
The attention that's paid to Ezekiel Elliott is making life a lot easier for Amari Cooper.
I don't disagree, and that's true of any receiver and any productive offense. I think, obviously, we talk about football being the ultimate team game. Most receivers don't excel if there's not balance in an offense, and that comes from the running game. I got you.
But if he has 381 touches, I get that Amari was acquired, in season from Oakland. But that still tells you everything about that offense and the importance. So I'd rather lock him up now, make him happy, and front load him a ton of signing bonus money or whatever they need to do to make it happen, instead of extending his rookie deal another 4 or 5 years. Just give him gobs of money right now while he's still who he is.
Or be in no hurry and tell him to have a good day. If he can't play, he can't play, and you move on. I mean, it's interesting. I didn't realize this. I read it today. The Dallas News posted some stats on this. I was curious to see what the Cowboys, where they were leaning, so I was trying to get a feel. Most of these teams these days play these guys straight out of college, and they pay them pretty quickly, like you said, right? With a fresh set of legs, they pay him up. Amongst the top 20 rushers last season, only Adrian Peterson, child abuser, and Houston's Lamar Miller had been in the league for more than 4 seasons. Basically, the league is controlled by really young backs. Mm-hmm. They come in, they make an immediate impact, and they die out because they get overused. It's crazy.
And the reason, again, I'd make that statement is because even though Dak's young and Amari Cooper is in the front half of his career, you're going for it now. You're Dallas. You haven't won anything, and, I mean, we're going on a long time now.
But would you give him $45 million guaranteed money like the Rams did with Gurley? I'm not doing that.
Yes, because it's earlier in his career. Yes.
They have him under contract for the 4th and 5th seasons.
I would rather renegotiate it year 3 if I'm the team. Get out in front of it, make the player happy, and then be able to cut him when the tread actually falls off the tires.
Here's where I think the argument holds true. I think you can develop a reputation as an organization of not paying players for productivity, and then that's going to hurt you long term in free agency.
Like if you have a top flight back like a Saquon Barkley. You think the over-under on his prime is what? Because he's special.
Well, I think he's uniquely gifted.
Okay.
I think he's the body type that could last a long time. He may be the exception, not the rule, certainly.
But you'd say, all right, guaranteed as long as there's not some freak play where he gets rolled up on.
And
or
it's
something.
football.
Like 7 years, something like that, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, I think easily, yes.
Okay. So,
he's getting paid after this year. If he produces like he did last year, I'm going to. But that's him. I got no problems with him. He's never been in trouble. He's not going to get in trouble. When you look at his background, you look at what he did at Penn State, you look at who he is, his first year in the league, there are no signs that this guy is going to be a potential problem if I sink $45 million of guaranteed money into him.
Right.
There is with Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, you could put a clause in the contract that you may have to pay a little bit more up front, risk-reward kind of a thing. Yeah. But I think they have every right in negotiation if you're Jerry Jones to say, I stood by you, man. I mean, I'm in every news story from here till, here to the other side of the world saying that I fought for you when Roger Goodell came down and suspended you anyway.
This is one of the fun cases to debate because both the player and the organization have a leg to stand on. You completely understand why if Ezekiel Elliott walked into camp and said, look, guys, I want to be here, but I can't. I need my money. You're paying me as a 10th or 11th best back in the league. We both know that I'm either the first or second best back in this league. I've proven it on the football field. Now pay me. I've outperformed my contract. And then the Dallas Cowboys could say, well, we love you. We love you as a player. But, man, every night I put my head on that pillow as an owner of this team, I worry I'm about to get a phone call that you just got in trouble in Las Vegas again.
Right. For accuracy's sake, this would be about the same point. Now, Gurley got his extension last year before the season started. Is that right?
Now his knee doesn't work.
Right. But there was precedent there. Wasn't there precedent, medical precedent?
There were worries coming into the league, I guess. But, man.
There wasn't for Zeke. No. That guy's only gotten bigger over time.
No, he's a beast. Listen, there's no questioning that guy's ability, physical tools, all that. He catches the ball out of the backfield. But, man, again, Gurley's a guy. Well, I wouldn't have paid Gurley either.
Yeah,
and I love Gurley, but I wouldn't have. I would have never paid him. He's got injury concerns.
This is different. I would pay again. Like if you could do it with Saquon, I agreed. If it gets through 2 seasons and you're like, okay,
just go pay.
What are we doing? Then I got him through year 6 or year 7 in his career, rather than scheduling them.
No, I would.
Year 9 or 10.
Saquon might get paid halfway through this year. I would come to his people and be like, we've seen enough. We're good. Here you go. Here's all we can give you right now. We want this guy to be a Giant for life. Sorry we were wasting his career, but, man, is he super talented. I'm in.
The one question I have about the cap and the way it works with salaries and the rookie wage scale is, wouldn't a team abuse that? So let's say you sign your 4-year initial deal. Can you restructure that, or do you have to wait for it to at least expire before the 5th-year option before you can change the terms of the deal? Because wouldn't a team just, make a signing in good faith and say, all right, give us a year and we'll bump your number up?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I can't
circumventing
answer.
The Sam Bradford type situation,
Man, I'm looking at the numbers while we're talking again, and I know that's not good radio. I'm just trying to glean one more stat here. Elliott led the NFL in rushing as a team. The Cowboys ranked 10th in rushing yards and 13th in yards per attempt. That's a lot closer to an average than somebody's truly special. That's the argument that this writer was making, and then there's a counter from somebody else that I was reading earlier this morning. Do you think he's going to sustain the durability that he's had when he's not suspended with the usage? I think his body type suggests probably so.
He's got a chance. Yeah, I think he's got as good a chance as any.
I feel like I know Saquon will. You've never seen guys that look like that. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, after
year 3, Earl Campbell.
Revisit it, though, after year 3. It'll be interesting to see about the wear and tear. If I were the Giants, I wouldn't use him at all. I'd be like, all right, we're going to give him – he's on a 15-pitch count, and we're going to wait and save him for later in his career.
Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Roar wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday Collegetown deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double, the beef, triple, the options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, the beef, and triple, the options with our Charbroiled double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can't protect against everything life has in store, but you can sure try. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we help you protect your investment with regular maintenance options that can keep your system safe. Receive same-day service when you sign up for the Total Comfort Service Program at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Hendrick. We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street, or find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
This morning you were in a rush and accidentally shaved too much. You bushwhacked your facial hair. Kinda looks like you were mauled by a bear. Now in the mirror you see a mutton chop hybrid goatee. It's who you are now. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And try the $1 grilled breakfast burrito with fluffy eggs and crispy bacon wrapped in a warm tortilla. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Call 800-319-8464. That's 800-319-8464. Again, 800-319-8464.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Junior welterweight Maxim Dadashev has died as a result of brain injury sustained in an 11th round knockout loss on Friday night. He was 28 years old. That fight on Friday, grueling and one of the hardest to stop given the circumstances, believes ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim.
While the fight was somewhat one-sided, it was just competitive enough, and there were enough signs that Dadashev had earned the right to continue. And I really thought, to me, the stoppage at the time of the fight was absolutely perfect. I can't say anything different.
ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim. NFL, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bengals are signing receiver Tyler Boyd to a 4-year, $43 million extension. Cincinnati, though, still has unfinished business at wide receiver as A.J. Green is heading into the final year of his contract. Redskins cut leading tackler Mason Foster and will save $4 million against the salary cap. The Cowboys will release receiver Allen Hurns. Hurns was coming back from a gruesome ankle injury sustained in last January's wild-card win against the Seahawks. By cutting Hurns, the Cowboys will save $5 million against the cap. ESPN's Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst reporting that the NBA will investigate potential tampering during this summer's free agency. The probe will likely focus on some of the earliest reported deals on June 30th, which is the first day teams and reps for free agents were technically allowed to speak. New Orleans star rookie Zion Williamson, the number one pick in last month's NBA draft, signed a multi-year shoe deal with Jordan Brand. Terms were not disclosed, although multiple competitor brands had offered Williamson more than $10 million annually in their negotiations.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Show at least for today and a fine lawn maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. In the back there is Director Matthew. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss something. You say, damn it, I missed it. But you're all right, because all 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show every day, both to iTunes, where you can rate, review, and share with your friends, and also on our website in the archived audio. Email the show if you like. JCS at 97.ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. WTSM app, really good for your mobile devices if you're out and about and away from the signal strength. And then, hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Get a good close here. Sorry, radio people. Look at that. There you go.
Ugh.
There you go.
That's that ACC network hat. There you go. Oh, he's shilling.
ACC network,
He's
ESPN.
shilling.
Hat that I'm wearing. It fits me well, though. I'm not going to lie. Not all hats do with my giant bald noggin. I got to find the right cap. These days, your cap size is changing. Growing your hair out long, you probably got to get new caps if you're going to keep that going. If you're going to be, Don Henley over there from the 70s and poofinate this thing.
Well, poofinate? I like that word.
Yeah, poofinate.
Poofinate.
I made that up. There you go.
All right.
You can poofinate that boy. Start to get you some pics. Do it up, man.
I got a cut last month, too, but it's
just trimmed. I don't think it was cut. I think it was trimmed.
It was highly trimmed.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. It was almost down to my shoulders.
What are you trying to
before
get
I left.
You trying to even it out so you can grow it long all in length?
I was just trying to even it out to, there's some things that had to take place when I was on vacation, so I wanted to be.
You wanted to be presentable.
Respectable.
Yeah, I got you. No real surprise here. Florida State wide receiver Tamorrion Terry and defensive tackle Marvin Wilson voted to the preseason All-ACC team. That was released today. That's not real big news, but it is nice to see a couple of Knowles in there. When you look at the rest of that list, it's pretty much all Clemson players. Not shocking at all. Tom, remember as we went over that list and were voting, We were trying to figure out, would there be an offensive lineman on the list that wasn't a Clemson player?
Yeah.
Not so much. Pretty much across the board. That's what you got right there.
I believe we were at the Ree-Rah in Uptown. And,
we were at the Ree-Rah right there, in Charlotte.
And yet you're saying, all right, you got any thoughts on offensive linemen? I got the guys I want. Well, the Clemson ones. I'm sure that they're probably
better than
Seeing
everybody
as
else's.
Boston College purged a lot of their guys. It's probably the Clemson guys, yeah.
Unfortunately, that turned out to be true with the voting. But anyhow, hey, listen, you've got a Biletnikoff Award watch lister in the way of Tamorrion Terry, and a kid who we didn't talk about his presence up in Charlotte because he's not demonstrative and he is shy, I think, in front of the press. And I know that they were trying to get him more comfortable in this setting because if he has the kind of season that we think he can have, he's going to be in front of a camera with a microphone frequently. He's a kid that's going to have to get used to this. Let's not forget, unfortunately, that even though he is a sophomore, he is a redshirt sophomore, and that means he can jet after this season. And if they are able to keep the quarterback upright and have a modicum of success blocking, he may put up really big numbers, as in well over 1,000 yards, being that he led the team in receptions and yards last year, but did not top 800 of them. I think he's a guy that obviously, with a little help from everybody else involved, could do it. And, think about it. He scored a touchdown. His touchdown ratio is he scores every 4 catches. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, he's really good.
Just can't believe in the history of the Biletnikoff Award, which is obviously voted on here in our own backyard by the Tallahassee Quarterback Club. And they started in 1994. There has yet to be a Florida State receiver to take home the award, even though it's named after somebody from Florida State. Maybe if Tamorrion goes off this year, this could be the opportunity.
How the hell did Peter Warwick not win it?
It was Antonio Bryant in 2000, Troy Walters in 1999.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, from Stanford.
I guess the suspension, maybe? I'm just trying to think.
It could be.
Yeah, because Peter Warwick is better than both those players by a lot.
Antonio Bryant, in college, though.
I'm talking about college. Just college. My goodness.
Randy Moss won it, so did we get partial credit?
Partial credit.
That was 97.
If you think about it, would have never, ever in the modern era, would we have ever suspended or kicked him off the team for a joint. That's just crazy person talk. I get mad about it.
Well, I think Jimbo would have kicked him off the team.
I get mad about it every time I think about it. It's just nuts. But today I was on Chuck Oliver. You guys may have heard that. I bring that up not to brag. It's just I was on there, and he was talking about the ACC kickoff, and one of the things he brought up was Tamorrion Terry and Marvin Wilson and also Willie Taggart, and asked about how Taggart did. But he went back to those two players and asked me a couple questions. And, look, I don't think there's any question. The most, I think, sure or confident we are as a fan base in any two guys, it would be those two, right? Those two players, more than anybody else on this team you believe in to have big years, no matter what the win-loss record is. Those two guys should play exceptionally well and put themselves in a position to move on to the NFL. I'd love to see him stay, but it's very unlikely. And I guess Tamorrion Terry has a chance to more likely come back than Marvin Wilson, I would think.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend and client of ours this morning as we were in a business meeting and going over just Charlotte. He wanted to know what was Charlotte like and some of the questions were asked and any senses you got. And I brought up the fact that Marvin Wilson is a good leader to have. We're in good hands with him.
Very.
But unfortunately, we only have about 12 games plus hopefully a bowl game left, so make the most of it. And Tamorrion went up there as well. That was media training, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Marvin doesn't need it as much, but it's media training because you're going to get asked a lot of questions in the near future if you're both of those players.
The university has done over the years now, I will give them credit. We criticize them when they deserve to be criticized, and that's not going to change. And that includes the athletic department and even friends we have over there. But they have done a much better job of prepping the players before going to ACC kickoff. Not everybody's gregarious and affable enough to really pull off sort of the charismatic face for the camera and make things happen from a publicity standpoint. Some guys are reserved. They're a little bit nervous. But what they can't be is ill-prepared. They have to have a feeling or an understanding of what they're going to be asked, and that's part of your job these days. I mean, if you're going to send kids up there, you better prepare them for the kinds of things they're going to be asked and how to handle. You got to equip them. It's a little bit like going to therapy. You have to be equipped to handle your emotions, to handle the situation, to handle the questions. I thought both guys did fine. Tamorrion Terry is never going to carry the day from the dais because that's not who he is, maybe years from now. But right now, he's a guy who's pretty reserved, a man of few words, is about business. But he's not standoffish. He's not gruff. He's not terse. He's fine. He needs more reps. But he was prepared. And Marvin Wilson is a dream if you're in the athletic department and you've got to take this guy anywhere because he all at once is capable of stating what needs to be said, but without sugarcoating. And also without, I think, ruffling too many feathers. He's just as straightforward as they come.
Right.
It's an earnest approach to those interviews.
He comes off as somebody who would have the floor in the voluntary summer workouts. Excuse me, I got to get the word voluntary in there. But you can tell that maybe if a teammate steps out of line, he'll get you right back real quick if he needs to.
I don't know who wouldn't listen to that guy. He is scary to sit across from. Now, he was fine. He was open and affable and kind and all those things, but he certainly demands your attention.
He carries that weight. I mean,
you were blown away by that. How can a man that weighs 330 pounds carry the weight so easily? Well,
right.
Because he's 6'5" or whatever he is. I mean, he's a
like
big
so. We
dude.
saw some other linemen from other schools.
Yeah.
Right. And you could tell that this is the most they're ever going to weigh in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying hard to be at that weight. You could just see the way their frame. It's kind of like when Jimbo would look at high school kids and see, can I put some weight on this kid's frame? Does he have the ability to grow into a man that can play at this level? I mean, Marvin could be, and I don't want him to be because it's not good for his health, but that dude could put on another 30 or 40 pounds for the league and be a zero tech and plug it up because he doesn't have a gut. There's hardly a gut there for somebody that big. It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know about 40 pounds. I would tell you, I think another 20, he'd get him in there at 350. I think he could do that. I think you're right about that. I think we'd start really pushing the envelope.
Well, but if you're a zero, you got to be, Gilbert Brown.
Then you're just a fat blob. I got you. If I wanted to be active, though, and a penetrator and a guy that can really make plays, fight off a block and make a play.
I don't want him to be. He's more gifted than that. But it's amazing how much more you could put on that frame. He carries it like a linebacker, like Nigel Bradham carried his weight. You're like, how's that dude 225, 230? He looks cut and lean.
He still is huge.
Yeah.
Nigel in the league, you're like, my God. Well, so many players. Let's hope that, let's put a ribbon on this before we move forward. I want to get to an NFL topic. I'll say this. The last few years, and I remember this before Jimbo got this thing taken off, and let's hope Willie's about to do that again. We were left just absolutely bumfuzzled by the amount of people that came through here that looked the part but didn't play the part and then got to the league and became the player we thought they should have been here. Nigel Bradham was that guy in a nutshell, by the way, who was a pretty good player here. He wasn't a dominant player here. And then you see him kicking ass for the Eagles, and you're like, look at this guy. He's all over the field. There's 13 tackles. And, that stuff drives you nuts, and I'd really like to see that change. Let's hope Marvin Wilson and Tamorrion Terry aren't guys that we go, they were pretty good here. And then we watch them dominate the league. Let's be great.
Derwin James was the last one.
Well, yeah, we missed. Oh, God. Let's go to break on that note before I vomit.
Marvin Wilson.
Whom we're talking about.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Okay, I'm not talking about when they pee on you and stuff like that, Eddie, and they're never going to remember it. I'm talking about, like, I got a little mad today, and I said something to my kid, and it may not have been the nicest thing to say, and I realized that I cursed at my kid.
Well, Jeff, that happens to guys like you. To me, I would never do such a thing. But,
This guy.
I'll
have some mahi fingers and think about it.
You should, because that always helps you think. And it's a form of penance. I'm going to charge you double.
Charge me double. I curse at my kids, everybody. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Sports journalism has changed a ton now, where you guys are following, this ex-sports agent who's got this tidbit of information and this blogger over here, and everyone's got sources and everyone's using sources. But no one's using them more responsibly than Chris Broussard is. I'm sorry, man. He is making it bad for all of us out here trying to do a legitimate job by being careful, because he's just making stuff up. You can't go on television and say Clippers are out. You can't go on Twitter and say Clippers are out when you're a reporter. You can guess it if you're a gas bag. You can't do it when you're a reporter.
Well, you can do it. He did it. So.
But there got to be consequences to that.
Hey, swung for the fences. I mean, if he was right, we'd be celebrating Broussard today.
Stugatz, you hearing anything?
No.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Seminole headlines.
Bauer sauce. Would you rather always be sweating, or every 20-second new person you meet, you have to stick their big toe in your mouth for 1 second? They know the deal, so time is not a concern.
It's not a question.
Yeah.
Sweating.
So they're sticking their big toe in our mouths
for 1 second.
Every 22nd person you meet.
Every 22nd person. So you get a respite. Now, you would dread it. If you went to bed that night and you were on 21, you'd be like, damn it, I can't meet anybody tomorrow.
But if you go to a football game, you're
sucking toes the whole time.
300 toes in your mouth?
You just don't look at people. But during the week, you're not
you don't have to meet
people.
everybody.
And you can order in. They get Uber Eats now. You don't
Does
have to
that
go
count
out.
as a meeting, though, when the person drops it off?
Yeah, that's one. But that's only one. If you stay inside all day.
We live in Florida.
But look,
we're sweaty all the time anyway.
I was going to say, there's no way I'm putting
question.
people's toes in my mouth.
You could up it to every 45th.
It's definitely not the big toe.
The little toe, you'd be all right with
pinky
the little
toe's
toe.
a little different.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, pinky toe. Yeah, I don't know about a pinky toe. Wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, no, big toe. I just no.
Some people have nasty feet, though.
I know. That's the problem. That's the question.
But you might come across some, some people
you'd be all right.
You wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Like secret fantasies. You're like, oh, all right. Nice to meet you. Take off your shoe.
You're number 22. You're number 22. Lucky day.
Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You seen the video? This reminds me of it. Just always puts a smile on my face. The late, great Joe Strummer. Have you seen the Shane Lowry video at the pub?
No.
Oh, it's perfect. It's what you would think it would be. He's in Dublin, and he's got the claret jug, and he's on stage, and they're singing an Irish jig, and they're all chanting, and he's guzzling, and they're all holding the Guinness hot. Wow. Music's loud. I showed it to Director Matthew earlier. There's several of them starting to leak out. It's fantastic.
So he's making the rounds.
Oh, yeah.
That's
awesome. And that was from the night of. So, that's the night he got there. And after that performance, obviously. And so that was the rumor that would happen, that he was going back to Dublin to celebrate it, and that he'd make the rounds, that he was going to have some cocktails, some Guinness with the locals at Port Rush. But then he was going to quickly be transported down to Dublin. Everything in Ireland's close. I've been there, done the whole damn island, except for Northern Ireland, actually. But it's 2 hours. So he was there quickly. He's not going to have to worry about driving. And he's still in his golf gear. It's fantastic.
Oh, wow. He didn't change?
Well, he's got a sweater on, but it's great. And he's kept it together. It's not out of control. It's just a fantastic party. And you can tell everybody there is so happy. Just Guinness on high, and him standing on a stage leading everybody into an old Irish song, and they're chanting away, which is magical, and really was the best part of the British Open, was that a local per se won, and that it was celebrated. I mean, by now, I'm not a big fan of that particular major. I like the vista, I like the views there, but I am not a fan of sometimes what dictates the winning and the losing at that particular event. But I was fascinated. We got called out. I got called out on Twitter yesterday because I criticized Brooks Koepka for his criticism of J.B. Holmes and slow play. And I responded to that by saying slow play is pervasive and a problem on the PGA Tour. It's spoken of on a regular basis behind the scenes. Announcers have called it out time and again, both on the Golf Channel and during the broadcasts tournament to tournament. It's not new. It's not something that hasn't been pointed out and complained about ad nauseum, I think. Certain players who play slow have also been called to the carpet, including J.B. Holmes, more than most.
He's
obviously.
Notorious as the worst, yes.
Yeah. I will say this. If a man's shooting an 87, there's no way to do that fast. You can't find your golf ball. It's going to be a problem. But Brooks has become kind of the champion for putting an end to slow play to the point where it's annoying now. He's already let it be known. And my point was, it's not the first time it's come up. It's okay to say something. If you got the stage and you got the podium and you've got the bully pulpit after winning all those majors to make a statement for the betterment of golf, I got no problem with that. You do an interview with David, or you do an interview with any of the major networks leading up to a major, and the question is asked of you, and say Faraday asked that question, and you're free to pontificate on that. I got no problem there. Do it once. You don't have to do it 4 and 5 times, and it's especially a bad look when you're already perturbed.
Well, if it hasn't been fixed after you go after it once, you got to keep going after it.
I don't think so. The players have already told. The PGA is well aware of this. All of this has been laid out. I mean, the rules are the rules. It's not you as a player that can enforce those rules. All you can do is abide by them. So they're supposed to go on the clock. The RGA could have put them on the clock. Maybe they did put them on the clock. I haven't found that out. But once you've stated it, it's out of your hands.
Yeah. Well, I think his full comment on Sunday is fairly diplomatic if you read it start to finish, because he did say that,
look, he wasn't the only one.
And he wasn't playing because he was playing poorly, he was out of position. It wasn't. He said that I don't think it's as bad as it's been for him, but he's got a lot of big holes out there. So it's if you're going triple or quads or whatever. But his whole comment was, I don't think it was as bad today as it has been for him. In general, the one thing that I can't stand is, if it's your turn and you're not even, you haven't started your thought process.
Well,
come on.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that, look, it's not like you don't know it's about to be your turn. Put your glove on. That's
make your calculations.
Yeah, let's go.
You don't have to start the process,
right.
This isn't chess.
No.
They didn't hit the button and now you got the board's completely different. The board was the same for you this whole time.
Yeah, but again, he's made that known, and so have any number of players. I don't know what bringing this up is going to do. It just makes you look like a bit of a whiner, and he's not. And that's my problem. Is that one of the things we like about him is that he shuts up and plays golf and understands that all of these points of contention it's all relative. You play golf for a living. You're getting on your net jet and flying back, man. You hate it when golfers complain. Stop complaining.
Yeah, but I find it, especially this time around, I think he did it well because he said, the RNA and the European Tour.
Well, the RGA. Yeah, the RNA, yeah.
They do such a great job. They do such a great job of enforcing pace of play. That's well done. That's well done. You're putting pressure on the PGA at that point. You got to keep hammering it home. He's over it. And he's so over it that he's going to fight until somebody does something about it. And they probably won't. But maybe if Jordan Spieth played faster and he called for it, people would. I think that would be his point,
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they have attempted to speed up the game. I don't – listen, I'm not on the tour. We're not on the tour. I don't know what it's like to sit there and have to wait on those guys. I'm sure it's frustrating. But in terms of viewing, it doesn't change anything. We've not noticed anything that's different. And so –
because we go shot to shot. But if you have to follow the groups, you'd feel it immediately. You'd be like, good God. When we watch the Ryder Cup and you see the Euro team, they always take their time, man. They always take their time. And so when you follow that match start to finish, you get pissed. I can't imagine if you're waiting on a 6-footer for birdie and it's 10 minutes later.
Well, listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. If I were playing, and you know how I am about slow play, so if we were playing and I was involved in that high-level match or something like that, I would have to really learn how to temper my frustrations because I get mad when we go to Klarn or wherever we go if there's somebody who's half-stepping. I mean, look, we can all suck at a brisk pace. Let's go.
Right. Now, and if listen, also full transparency. If I'm playing well, I do slow down a little bit because I want to think my way through. But if we're playing on a Wednesday afternoon, let's say for argument's sake, I'll move along.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Now, if I'm even through 6, it doesn't mean I come out of my routine. But okay, I may gauge the wind a little bit rather than take a sip of a beer, and then go hit my shot.
You don't play slow, and I think everybody gets it. If you're sitting there even par through 5 or 6, and you got potentially one of the best rounds you've had in a decade, or in my case ever, I'm going to be a little bit more selective. I'm going to think a little bit more about each shot, but still, I'm not going to spend 7 minutes looking for a ball. When you're talking about hacks, when you're just talking about all of us hacks out there on the weekend, the guys that play slow are the guys that spend an inordinate amount of time looking for their ball. And to that, and this may sound arrogant, I say, if you can't afford balls, if you can't afford to lose a ball, you don't need to play golf. Just too expensive.
Right. Well, it's one thing if you see where the ball lands.
If you hit a ball
and
dead
it's
down the
right
pike
in this
and you got screwed, fine. Look for it. Yes, you don't want to be costly.
Or it's in bounds for sure. It's in the rough, but it's in bounds.
We all
Not
know
in the fescue.
what a fair amount of time is to look for a ball. Then there's the guy who's got half his crew out there swatting away leaves and brushes. Come on, man. Just take a drop here and let's go. And if you're playing with your buddies and it's not a competitive round, you can just tell them, look, I'm not taking a penalty stroke here. We all know that ball landed in, right? We good? I'm dropping right here. Everybody all right?
Yeah.
Let's go. I get it if you're all concerned about your score.
Or if you're playing the ball down. Then it matters.
Yeah. So that's a toughie. I didn't really want to get into that. Let's segue to this. I just wanted to tell you about, go find the JB Holmes video. Not the JB Holmes video. That video is of him hacking it all over the lot.
He might have been at that party, but
I still laugh from yesterday when I said, man, you got a go-to shot here, something we can flight down and to get us a trick. And you go, because I can get us in at 79.
Yeah, I'll get you 79.
That's the best caddy response of all time.
I need 200 and a punch.
Yeah, we'll card a 79 and go home, JB.
I'm looking at the book here, JB. We only have to clear 220 once on this entire course.
Boom. Just give me a bullet
let's just
punch.
go down the middle at 200. Can you do that?
Keep it low. Something you can cup.
I mean, it's
just
a chip. It's a chip with your 4-iron.
Just fire it down there.
Let's go with that shot. Yeah.
Every time, JB. Let's leave the driver in the bag. The weather conditions are not conducive.
I'm not even going to bring the bag up to the tee box. I'm going to leave it in the walkway. I'm just going to bring the 4 and hand it to you.
So this is what I wanted to segue to, which is I thought about this after we talked about it yesterday, I think in the 5 o'clock hour, which is that, and they're talking about it again today with NFL camps continuing to open, that Tyreek Hill situation, the NFL and Roger Goodell was subsequently shamed in the papers across the country today. You go to any sports section, you can just about find that article by whoever the columnist is, right, covering the league. And you knew that was coming, and they talked about it being a special kind of hypocrisy that the NFL engages in. And especially in this case, since they have both prior evidence that he punched and that he pled guilty to punching his pregnant girlfriend in the stomach, and then also choking her, cracking her lip, and she was seen. If you read the police report, it's uncomfortable to read, but swollen eye, the whole deal. And he pled guilty to that, and actually said, upon pleading guilty to that, I did something I should not have done. My emotions got the best of me. So he admitted to it. He did it. He's guilty of it. That's not in question. So that's what we know him to be. And that was coming into the league with the same woman. This is the same woman that altercation occurred with, and you hear him on tape saying, you should be terrified of me too, you dumb B-word. Okay, so there you go. Now we're done here, right? That's very simple, cut and dry. Doesn't matter about the other evidence, whether you have it or you don't, on the young man's broken arm. It matters in the big scheme of things in the world, but in terms of punishment being dealt, I understand why the NFL has to leave that alone, because the police had to leave that alone with quote-unquote not enough evidence. But the comments is enough to have clearly
but the
crossed
NFL,
the line.
The NFL doesn't have to leave that alone if the legal system has to leave it. They don't.
They don't, but they got burned on this once before, and I don't think they want to get burned on this again. And this is something you and I agree with, though. We said this before. The NFL, do they want to get into the role of being cops, like universities having to do Title IX investigations where they have to be detectives in essence, and they're not equipped to do that. They don't have the personnel to do that, the education, the backdrop to do that. And the NFL has kind of crossed that line on numerous occasions where they've made certain assumptions. Perhaps the evidence isn't there to suggest that. And I've always said, look, if you're going to suspend a guy for a year, you're going to take a paycheck for a year, and there's some question marks legally as to whether or not he did or did not do this thing he's accused of, then I think you ought to let the cops vet that situation before you step in and take a man's salary for a year, because you're not equipped to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because they're a league of hypocrisy, they do that. And then sometimes they say they can't do that. And then sometimes they come back and say they will do that. And then other times they go, no, we can't do that because the police don't know what happened. Yeah, they never have a standard by which they follow, and that's the problem here.
Right. My whole thing is, again, always context and precedent matters. If Larry Fitzgerald is accused of this very thing, and you've got decades of evidence that shows that he's a good guy, behind the scenes.
Benefit of the doubt. I understand.
Right. It's Tyreek Hill who had baggage coming in. Why did Jameis get suspended for 3 games, which was a settlement between he and the league?
Right.
Why? It wasn't because it was the first of its kind. It's because Roger Goodell sat him down. We all know this before he got drafted and said, man, you can't have any of this stuff or else we have to step in. There was precedent. So that's the reason he got suspended last year. Even if it's murky in both cases, you can argue that. But Roger Goodell says, the hell with that. I told you. I told you very simply.
Because they're suspending him for a violation of code of conduct, not the legal charges, because there were none. So that is yes, I agree. What I want to get to here, though, is this. You talked about the responsibility, and I think you were alluding to morality in this case, which is fine, because I think you can make a moral stand on this. When are the players going to do that? Because what if Patrick Mahomes said, I won't play with him? Think about it. If we worked in a huge office and there were, and you had to work side by side with somebody that was integral to the success of the company, and you knew on multiple occasions he had abused his wife or girlfriend physically, you knew it, and you were the CEO, or you were the you were vital to the operation in some function, right? And I can't
vital enough that the CEO says, okay, let's keep going ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I always wonder about that, because I got to be careful here. We've worked in situations, many people out there listening have, where, let's say sexual harassment, we'll use that issue, okay, comes up. You have a responsibility, I'll say this, that if you bear witness to it, I'm not saying if you don't, because if you don't, that's trouble.
Right, it's hearsay.
It's hearsay.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
About that.
But if you see it, if you bear witness to it, and there is a subsequent claim by the woman or the man, and you saw it, you have a responsibility when asked about it to tell the truth, and not to protect somebody, but rather to get to the bottom line here of what happened or what did not happen and what's right and what's wrong. And I don't know what Patrick Mahomes, and I'm using him, he's the star quarterback. That's a top flight receiver he's throwing to, vital to the offense. I don't know what his responsibility is here other than to show up and play football. That's what his contract says to do.
And the problem is I would think the players union would step in there and say, whoa, you really want to start this here? You really want to start this?
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And it is a problem. I agree. But, man, if I'm playing alongside a guy I know broke his child's arm and has punched his pregnant girlfriend, maybe I don't publicly do it, but I think behind the scenes, I'm going to Andy Reid. I'm going to management and saying, guys, is this what we are? Is this who we are in the community? This is what we want to be as an organization? We want to house this? Because I think the long-term effects of that are much more damaging than the short-term, success we might have at the box office, whatever it might be. I think that long-term, what that does to us, the black cloud that puts over this organization. There are many other things to bring up here, but I just wondered. I wonder when we're going to get a player who says, no, I'm not going to be part of this. I'm not going to play alongside this guy. You have to know. You have to 100% know.
Sure.
I mean, that's the key here. You can't be speculative.
I think that's what Mahomes would say, too, is like, well, what Tyreek says. Listen, now stay with me here. This is not what I'm claiming. But Tyreek says that she's crazy. And that he made a mistake in college, and now she's just trying to pin him down because she wants something. I don't know. All he's been dealing with is Tyreek, and then you get the news cycle stories outside of the bubble of the locker room. That's all I'm saying. That's probably where he's coming from.
It's what he's got to say.
Yeah.
And it's what, if he's not willing to take the stand that I'm suggesting he has to say.
100% reiterating that's not what I believe.
I know
but
that. I know that. I think that it is a really difficult issue because I understand the precedent you're setting here. I understand the slippery slope this is. I get that, if it's this today, which seems pretty obvious, it's something far less obvious tomorrow.
Sure.
It's
it's like if I want to take the stand that I was mulling over yesterday on the air about Tyreek, well, why did I watch Warren Sapp?
Right. I that's why.
Why do I have Buccaneers championship gear?
Right. Well, that's why yesterday I was like, you don't want to do that. Because, I'm
going to be more indifferent towards it, though. I mean, it's building a greater level of indifference, which is not good for if you are in the marketing department of the league.
Well, this is where we attack the league and have this conversation. Again, I thought big picture at some point their hubris would catch up with them, and it did. There was a blip on the radar there where it did, but it's back to where it was pre PR blunders with the Ray Rice situation. They had some situations kind of one on top of the other that caused, obviously, however you looked at the controversy regarding the anthem, but it all culminated with that. But there were previous blights to the NFL's PR, and then it ended up having an impact on their ratings and an impact at the box office.
It's just amazing to me how yesterday there can be a suspension handed down to a Seattle Seahawks defensive lineman.
Which was also for domestic violence.
Right, that he was never charged for. And he's handed a 6-game suspension on basically what amounts to investigative documents and hearsay, right?
Well,
I mean, is that where it's going?
I have not, and I'll admit that, I have not looked into that case well enough to say definitively the way I've read everything there is to read about the Tyreek Hill thing, and that is undoubtedly that he is guilty, and we know this to be true, and I find myself absolutely dumbfounded as to how we have arrived at this place. That Seattle Seahawks defensive tackle situation, I don't know about. Do they have video evidence? Is there something involved? I know that this also sounds like a case from what I've read, and again, a cursory glance at that story, where the woman didn't want to proceed, but they knew the incident happened.
What I'm getting at is this, is that the day after that, the news story leaks out that they're not going to, pursue a suspension of Tyreek Hill, that if they wanted to hide behind the thing about legality, the next day they say, well, there weren't charges filed, but 6 games.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying about.
The inconsistencies make no sense. And look, we're just talking about suspensions based on a violation of code of conduct. This isn't the legal matter, right? That's what I'm saying. Right. This is a cut-and-dry case.
Well, and as I've thought about it more, and this has been on my mind a lot, not because of any sports media. Honestly, I haven't heard hardly anybody else talk about it. It's just like if he was suspended, let's say, for 3 or 4 games, what does that really change in terms so now I'm okay to watch him? Right. You know what I mean?
No.
So now it's magically okay because he served his penance to the NFL of 4 game checks. If it was me, I'd say that this is plenty enough evidence to say the hell with you in my sport. But since they're not going to do that, and they never would have, even if they suspended him, it would have been for a month or whatever. Is that good enough?
No, I think
probably not.
You got to be careful what you wish for. I have also had this larger conversation about, okay, so what does he have a right to do? What work should he do? Right? Like, let's say the league said you're gone forever. What's he going to go do? And
it's not their problem.
It's not their problem. But at what point do you allow somebody back doing what they do best, making a living in the best way they can? Like,
well, Johnny Manziel is essentially out of football. I mean, the CFL doesn't want him back ever again.
But
the
he
NFL's
was a
not
drug addict, and he was showing up to meetings high. I mean, that's because he couldn't do the job. He sucked. Tyreek Hill's an elite player. He's going to get that opportunity time and again. And if he ever is charged with a crime, he'll serve his crime, his punishment, whatever that might be, say 6 months in jail, 1 year suspension, whatever, and somebody else will sign his ass because he's equipped to play football. Johnny Manziel's not any good. He's not any good. He can't play. And he's high.
But it's self-inflicted crime versus the crime of affecting a helpless child. You know what I mean? That it's interesting. Josh Gordon can't stay off the weed, but, he's still got ability.
Yeah, well,
doesn't matter anymore.
But Josh is not suspended by the league. He chose to walk away from the Patriots they gave him another chance.
Yeah, but you think about how much of his prime he missed because he's got a bit of a weed issue.
Well, and listen, if we're talking big picture stuff here, you hear players estimate that 70, 80% or so of the league uses marijuana. My personal feeling is that marijuana should be legal. That's just me personally. So when I hear about a player, and I don't smoke weed. I have, but I don't. I haven't in years. What I'm telling you is I think it should be legal in all 50 states. I think that's the direction we're moving. It's going to happen. So if we're just talking about the morality of this and the laws and all that, I hear about a player get busted for smoking weed. I go, whatever, man. What the hell are we talking about? Half these guys are hopped up on 6 different types of steroids. We're worried about whether he smokes a joint at night to alleviate pain. Get the hell out of here with that. So I'm with you on that, but that's the league's policy, and until it is legal in 50 states, I understand that's why that's their policy.
And again, what does that all come back down to? The collective bargaining agreement.
Sure.
And so I think it would take the union. As weak as it is, it's still significant enough in this forum. The union would have to take a stance, meaning the membership of the players get together and they say, nah, man. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Well, there's
not
so many
these types of guys. I'm sorry. They're out of the league. And the league has unilateral ability in these moments where it is proven, and this maybe not even in this case with Tyreek Hill, based upon this most recent incident. But if you have multiple cases, we don't want them in our union, so they can be out of the league. Screw them.
Yeah, I would think it would be a PR boon for the players' union to take a stance in situations like this in which they say, look, man, we don't want these kinds of guys being the face of the players of the NFL. It's almost like in Major League Baseball where you have the clean players disgusted that they have to compete against guys on the juice, knowing that it's forcing the guys in the minor league that are right on the edge to make decisions they don't want to have to make.
It may be indirect in the Tyreek Hill case, but he's costing us money is what they could say, and they'd be right.
Yeah.
Because now a sponsor who was willing to commit $10 million, which may be a small chunk of the league revenue, but it's something.
They say, no how, no way.
They say, oh, man, I can't.
You guys are going to let
this.
that slide?
Yeah.
He's going to be out here catching touchdowns on Sundays?
Yeah.
He's going to be in prime time for all of us to watch? No, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not associating my company's name with that guy. And to be certain, and I want to make this clear, because so often these high-profile cases with jarring sets of circumstances and facts that surround the case lead to people painting with a broad brush that the league is filled with bad guys. And it's simply not true. Statistically speaking, across the board, the league is filled with really good guys who work hard, do the right thing by their communities, by their organizations, by their teammates and their fans. These are guys that show up to work like everybody else and do a very difficult job and give tons of money back to charity. That's what that league is mostly made of. There are some bad guys, just like there are bad guys in, I don't know, the music world, the acting world, you name it, whatever it might be.
But the problem was, and this is somebody I've been talking about forever because it's an easy call. This is something we've known for years and years and years. I remember following Tyreek Hill's career closely because he was so damn good at the kickoff game, Oklahoma State, Florida State, that there were rumors about Jimbo being pissed in the middle of the game, saying, we were trying to get this guy,
they were trying
processed
to get him.
into Florida State.
I
and all
spoke
that
to Jimbo Fisher about Tyreek Hill after that game, unbeknownst to us that he was a menace. But I had asked him, did you recruit him? And he said, yes, we couldn't get him into school. I'm not shocked to find out he couldn't get into school based on what we've seen since. But, he had to go to JUCO route before he went to Oklahoma.
So we follow his career, and then you learn about this off the field thing. Oh, good thing he didn't come here.
Correct.
And then he gets into the league, and every time he's celebrated, I recoil a little bit. I go, let's pump the brakes. Remember, last year in the playoffs, I'm like, this guy's, piece of crap. And then this story comes out, it's just...
Oh, he's a terrible guy.
This was an easy call.
But we've been doing this as fans of the National Football League and other sports, I guess, for a long, long time. I mean, when you brought up Warren Sapp, but I mean, my goodness, Lawrence Taylor was never a good guy.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of things that we know about that guy, hotel rooms, young kids, not good situations, but there on Sunday, he's out there menacing the league, and you're like, ain't never been anybody better than that.
And he's on Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
And Mike Greenberg said, I can't wait for my kids to be you in this video game.
Right.
Like,
I mean, think about.
Think you might have objected to that interview. If LT is going to come on today, we're going to talk about playing as him and the Madden Ultimate 50-year anniversary, whatever.
And the hard part about that is, like, you think you're balancing however much money they got for that interview because they're promoting Madden, they're promoting the game. I'm sure EA was spending tons of money for that kind of promotional trail.
Doesn't mean you have to say, I can't wait for my kids to be you.
Let's wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
If you go skydiving, make sure your parachute works. Eat your vegetables applies to adults, too. And I know it's a pain, but it's a good idea to floss every once in a while. These have been some live-long tips brought to you by the Florida Lottery. With the Week for Life scratch-offs, you can win up to $5,000 every week for the rest of your life. So you just have to live long and win on. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it.
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, a proud partner of the Hendrick Automotive Group. 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 trucks up to $50,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a 20-quart Orca cooler when you buy any new GMC truck. We are professional grade on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag. Or shop DaleJr.GMC.com. Cooler valued at $199. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Pickens Tree Service has over 25 years of experience in cutting down trees and removing stumps in the Tallahassee area. While you may appreciate the beauty of foliage on your property, certain trees may pose a health risk to the owners. Pickens Tree Service will help you identify these potential issues and take preventative measures to remove the risk along with the tree. Just give them a call for a free estimate at 850-590-1833. That's 850-590-1833. Pickens Tree Service, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quincy, Crawfordville, and surrounding areas.
We all want want more energy, more strength, more results? Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Jason Fitz, Mike Golick Jr. Mike, how you doing this morning? Everything good?
I'm not doing as well as Ben Simmons.
If you're the 76ers, the minute that this became available to you and you knew you could get it done, just get it done.
Who's that dude's agent?
It's funny, Rich Paul.
We have seen what Rich Paul and some of his clients will do when they're unhappy, when they feel slighted. Because the other advantage you have as Philadelphia is, dudes leave for greener pastures all the time. You are greener pastures still right now.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Junior welterweight Maxim Dadashev has died as a result of brain injury sustained in an 11th round knockout loss on Friday night. He was 28 years old. That fight on Friday, grueling and one of the hardest to stop given the circumstances, believes ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim.
While the fight was somewhat one-sided, it was just competitive enough, and there were enough signs that Dadashev had earned the right to continue, and I really thought, to me, the stoppage at the time of the fight was absolutely perfect. I can't say anything different.
ESPN boxing writer Steve Kim. NFL, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bengals are signing receiver Tyler Boyd to a 4-year, $43 million extension. Cincinnati, though, still has unfinished business at wide receiver as A.J. Green is heading into the final year of his contract. Redskins cut leading tackler Mason Foster and will save $4 million against the salary cap. The Cowboys will release receiver Allen Hurns. Hurns was coming back from a gruesome ankle injury sustained in last January's wild-card win against the Seahawks. By cutting Hurns, the Cowboys will save $5 million against the cap. ESPN's Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst reporting that the NBA will investigate potential tampering during this summer's free agency. The probe will likely focus on some of the earliest reported deals on June 30th, which is the first day teams and reps for free agents were technically allowed to speak. New Orleans star rookie Zion Williamson, the number one pick in last month's NBA draft, signed a multi-year shoe deal with Jordan Brand. Terms were not disclosed, although multiple competitor brands had offered Williamson more than $10 million annually in their negotiations.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Trying to find the damn starters, Tom. We got to get out of here and go watch baseball. Baseball.
I have not seen Wheezy in some time. Is Wheezy still in your house?
Wheezy is still in the house and thriving. Wheezy is the house computer. She's been retired to the house. She doesn't go out much anymore, Tom, but she's doing all right. If you ask her to look up something, she can do that. That's about what she handles.
So she's more of a desktop now.
Definitely just a desktop. Hey, now. Just definitely a desktop. That's what she does. She
charges
sits there
by the hour.
She does not. She doesn't want to be picked up. Doesn't want to go anywhere. Is content in her little corner. We have her by a window, which is nice.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
And sometimes the kids will want to look up a song or maybe look up some historical fact, and I'll go, well, Wheezy's right over there. Go look her up.
Do they call the computer Wheezy?
They know that she's Wheezy.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they press one key, she goes, woo. Okay, let's go. What do you want, guys?
That brings me some solace on a Tuesday that Wheezy's okay.
Wheezy's still with us. I don't know how much longer she will be. Today's Tuesday, not Wednesday, and I couldn't speak all day. I've struggled all day. Let's get to problems. See if I can mealy mouth my way through this freaking set of starters.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
You know, Tom, you said you have begun the process of moving on from the Mets for this year.
Yes.
We're edging closer with the Buccos. We lose some heartbreaking games on a pretty regular basis. Extra innings the other night to lose the Phillies series. Then we lose in extra innings last night on a tremendous defensive play from St. Louis, whom you know I hate.
Because they always make that tremendous defensive play.
And the guy who made it can't play.
Yeah.
6-5, we lost in 11.
Yeah, I saw Matthew Leach tweet about that. He's like, okay, that's how you're going to end the game.
It's just... I'm close.
This is a really interesting year because I don't know if I'm doing the work down in Tampa yet for the Lightning. So, you know, I'm not really all that interested in the Lightning regular season if I don't have to be because it's all about the playoffs. And the Mets are horrible. I've got a lot of time for football this year. Maybe Premier League Saturdays, too.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time for that. Golf, because now golf goes year-round, which is good, too. You can start picking that up a little bit. Yeah, Pirates are 46-53, so I don't feel good about leaving them in the lurch just yet. They've had a tough start to the second half of the season. They lose tonight. We may be...
Well, we dropped another ball in shallow left field to lose a game on Saturday. So, you know, I've seen that. I saw that with Luis Castillo against the Yankees years ago, and that was the only time I needed to see that. And it's we've had 2 or 3 others since.
Just dropping balls out in left field, right?
Brother man.
Just dropping balls.
Dropping balls.
Not good. Rockies, Nationals, Peter Lambert, Steven Strasburg. We got the Cardinals and the Buccos, Dakota Hudson, Chris Archer. Indians, Blue Jays, Trevor Bauer, Aaron Sanchez, Red Sox, Rays. Rays better get it together. Chris Sale, Yanni Chirinos. We've got the Phillies and the Tigers. These should be easy wins for the Phils. Aaron Nola and Matthew Boyd. We got the Padres and the Mets. Your favorite pitcher starting tonight for the Metropolitans, Jason Vargas. Chris Paddock will go for the Padres.
That's the first game in Citi Field history was against the Padres, and they hit the leadoff home run. When I went back this year, leadoff hitter, home run.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Royals, Braves, Danny Duffy, Dallas Keuchel. A's, Strohs, Mike Fires, Wade Miley. We got the Reds and the Brewers, Tanner Roark and Zach Davies. By the way, Zach Davies, who's good in real life, is really good on MLB The Show. Like, I can't hit him ever. Like, so Zach Davies out here going to throw a bunch of perfect games on me every time I face him.
You know who the show had pegged a few years ago? I haven't played the game in 2 or 3 seasons. It was Marcell Ozuna, and this was before he had his MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
Anytime you threw anything near the strike zone, it was a line drive home run. Yeah. And it was 420. I mean, that thing was gone, man.
Yeah, it turned into an all-star.
Yeah.
Yankees, Twins, Domingo Germán and Kyle Gibson. We got the Marlins and the White Sox, Caleb Smith, Dylan Covey, Orioles, D-backs, Dylan Bundy, Merrill Kelly. Hello, Merrill. Cubs, Giants, Yu Darvish, Madison Bumgarner, and Rangers, Mariners. Rangers don't know. Mariners going to go with Tommy Maloney. And finally, I almost didn't get to this one, Angels, Dodgers, Felix Pena, Kenta Maeda. That is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. All right, so tonight we've got, what is that, baseball? Braves baseball? Yeah, we do.
That wasn't a golf swing. That was a baseball cut.
I didn't know if you were rolling your wrist over what you were trying to do there.
Well, I'm trying to prevent the slice. Yeah. 6:05, so we'll probably run some sort of long-form promo to get you to the start of the coverage.
All right, enjoy Braves baseball. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow.